Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck Sim live stream. Today it's the 10th of January 2022, 10 minutes past 5 in the evening here in the UK. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late. Slight issue of X-Plane 11. Aircraft just started moving backwards on its own, just literally about to start the stream, and then the speed brakes were coming up, and then the ground power was disconnecting, and then I went back, and then all of a sudden I was approaching the taxiway, and I was on VATSIM causing carnage. So I reloaded the sim back on the stand, and now all seems to be okay. Change the stand seems to be working, as John Padfield suggested in chat. I hope you're all doing very well. Yes, Yoke Cam is coming. I'm going to show you it very shortly. I'm just going to see who we have in chat today for our lovely sector. Today we're going to be flying from Geneva, which is where we finished last stream in the excellent Hot Start Challenger 650. We're going to be flying 1 hour 30 minutes to Alicante, one of my favourite destinations. But with the Yoke Cam today, with the TCA Boeing Yoke, we're going to hand fly the departure, raw data, no flight directors. We'll then get the automation in. We'll continue to fly all the way towards Alicante. Unusually, they've got quite strong westerly winds in Alicante, so we're going to fly a non-precision approach today. Again, completely manually flown, no flight directors. We're going to go for the VOR X-ray there, which is a 20-degree offset approach, and I'm going to demonstrate a missed approach as well. Going to do a purposeful missed approach. We'll kindly ask the controller if he could accommodate that, and then we'll go around for another approach as well. And this will all be with the Yoke Cam, so you can see what inputs I'm making of the controls. It's been massively requested by a lot of people, and I hope it's going to be something that I hope to use in a lot of future streams as well. Who we got here in chat? We got Alfie Don, Main 001, hope you're doing well. Michael Jones, morning from Seattle, good morning to you. Rebecca Cheese here. Sean Cooper, good afternoon, Captain. Hope you're well, keeping safe. Very well, thank you. Sky, Ifran, Robin, Anthony Teal, hope you're doing well. Steve, J61, Bert Feller, Mark King is here. John Franco, Samuel Butler, Shuey, John Padfield as well. Sim Aviation, Jonathan Wiltshire, loads of people here today. D Aviation, Henry Yandel, Hayden J. Robbins, hello, I'm Matt Hams as well. Blue Bear 1873, Aaron Hastings, I think I caught most of you there. Thank you very much for all tuning in. Anyway, let's zoom on in a little bit closer towards the ZIBO mod here. Here we are. This is the Aerosoft scenery for Geneva. I was on stand 33, which is causing me issues. I've now switched to stand 32 because it's my lucky number. And here we are. It's been a while since we've been in the ZIBO mod. Obviously, the last 737 we flew was the Level Up simulator, add-on for the 73, which is a great add-on, but we are all about ZIBO mod over here at Flight Deck Sim. It is the GOAT 737, so it's good to be back in it. Did a test sector this morning, all looking really nice. This version's the latest public version, which is 351.12, just some minor bug fixes for you, but all looking really good. But yeah, it's really great fun to show you the Yoke Cam. Would you guys like to see the Yoke Cam? It's going to hopefully smoothly transition over to it, so what I'll do, I'll transition over to the cockpit now, as we always do, professionally. There we are. Imagine we're going through the air bridge. Ah, yes, what a professional. Look at that, straight into the cockpit. There we are. So, cue the Yoke Cam. It should be working. Here we go. Where's my button? 3, 2, 1. There we are. Look, I'm a real person. I have hands. I've got to be really careful. I don't lean forward to show you my face, because I still wish not to show you my face. But here I am. Look, here's the control column. All live. Look forward, back, left, right. You can see the ZIBO mod working accordingly. There's the thrust levers as well. But there you are. Still no face. I have no face. You won't ever see my face. I don't have a face. But no, I'm wearing a stripy jumper today. I might bring Jack in at some point as well. And look, I'm actually a pro streamer. I've gone for an interactive border. It's looking really nice. So hopefully it's something you'll enjoy. Again, it won't be here every stream because it is a bit of a pain to get this thing set up, and using the desk is quite difficult as well. Like, I've got my iPad here, my work iPad. Here's my Streamlabs overlay, which
30,
I can use to control the stream.
20,
I'll also be using Julie Roberts just donated £20.
Hello, Captain. I heard I am going to be exhibiting this evening on webcam near your legs. I would just like to say the honor is mine, darling.
For those of you who are unfamiliar with myself, I am a bit of a fan of a Mrs. Julia Roberts, so I do have a cardboard cutout of her, and maybe everyone anytime anyone donates, I'll show a picture of Julia Roberts here. So she'll be looking over me throughout the entire stream. This is a present from someone. And she stands there looking over me at all times. There she is. I've got the light on here, so it's quite difficult to see in the background. So, no, not creepy at all. No, I didn't get this myself. I didn't get this. It was a present from someone. I would never do that there. But she stands over me keeping guard at all times. Anyway, whilst we're doing the setup, I will get rid of the webcam, just because I need to use the keyboard and everything. And whilst I'm hand flying critical phase of flights, the yoke cam will come on at all those phases whilst taxiing as well. And I'll be talking about some things like hand position on the thrust levers, what we teach during the type rating, where you have to have your hand, how to hold the thrust levers properly, and the yoke as well. You know, I sometimes watch other streamers. I mean, I'm just taking this seriously. You can do whatever you want as well. And, you know, when you have your hand on the thrust lever, you want to have it like this. Some guys I see doing this. They use it as like a hand rest. It's not. You got to hold this properly. Although it's a little baby version, you know, we still want to do everything properly in the aircraft as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. Anyway, who we got popping in here? All these lovely messages. Firstly, it was Justin York for 17 months as a member. Cheers, Captain. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for being a member for 17 months on the channel as well. Excuse me, I didn't mean to put that. John Padfield, thanks for the 12 months. Don't accidentally reveal your face when you reach for your tea. Yeah, I know, I've got to be careful. I'm actually sporting a moustache at the moment, so you might get to see my moustache if you're very lucky. Brilliant. The mic, left-hand mouse user unsubbing. Sorry about that. I'm a lefty, but I'm a bit ambidextrous. I can use the mouse in my right hand if I need to, but I've got no space for it over there anyway, because that's where the throttle quadrant is. Excellent, nice jumper. Yeah, all stripy today. Thank you very much for 345. Main 001, if you move the camera forward, you can get close to the yoke if that's more natural for you, seeing that you don't want to move your face on camera. Yeah, no, that's fine, Main 001. It took me some time to set it up, so just showing you again here. Yeah, this position, you know, you get a full view of the yoke and the thrust levers, so I think it's pretty much perfect. I have chat to the right here, so I can still see chat easily. I know where if I put my head in certain places, you can see it. You know, if you see my chin, it's not going to be what I don't mind. I don't mind if yeah, you see a little chin, let's say. Jonathan Wiltshire, thank you very much for the £5, buddy.
I see you're ideally suited to the captain's side stick in an Airbus. Smiley face.
See, you're ideally suited to the captain's side stick in an Airbus. Well, yeah, I have it laid out for the captain. Actually, can you actually see? I do have my. Well, you can't see it, it's out of view. I do actually have my TCA Airbus side stick in the background. I could have done some selfless merch plugins as well. I should put my flight deck to sim mug by the Quadrant. Maybe I could get some people to buy it or something. Unbelievable. Hi, Matt Adams, thank you very much for the 13 months, a year and a day's membership. Thanks for the great community. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot, buddy. Thank you indeed for your continued support there. Excellent. Stick a Julia Roberts mask on and you'll be sweet. Unbelievable. Chin reveal. You're making solid progress here. Unbelievable. Right, I need to get the show on the road. Look, we've been back here. Look, this rider's managed to push back and taxi in that time. So let's get the show on the road. Otherwise, we're never going to get to Alicante at this rate. Right, batteries on, GPUs on the bus, electric hydraulic pumps can come on. Landing gear levers down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights. We then check all the aircraft documentation. Let's go and check the fault and fire tests. So let's check the squibs first. Here's faults. Fault APU detector in op. We've got master caution overheat detector. And there's the fire test. We've got wheel well, fire warning lights, overheats, and overheat detector, and the fire warning and master caution lights too. Emergency exit lights arm. Push the attend button. Here's our operational flight plan from Geneva to Alicante. So because I'm actually going to purposefully fly a missed approach today, the full missed approach and go around, it's quite a long missed approach and quite a long approach. We'll probably burn 600 kilos doing that, plus the usual 30 minutes. So I'm actually going to take 2 tons extra to accommodate for maybe potential delay if a lot of people are joining me on this sector, and because I'm flying a missed approach on purpose. So I'm going to whack on 9 tons of fuel. So go here, Avitab. Not Avitab, sorry, fuel, payload, 9 tons. And payload will be 170 passengers. So our landing weight is going to be quite high today because we've got a lot of passengers and a bit of extra fuel. So that's all done, and we'll call for the fuel truck now.
Ground flight deck hose is connected and starting refueling.
There we are, and now we should have a zero fuel weight of 58 tons, 57.9, that's perfect. Carry on with the rest of the setup then on. We tested the attend button already. Flap position is up, and they match it. It's matching up on the flap indicator. Working our way down here. Stab trim count switches are in normal. Check the cargo fire, forward and aft and discharge. And we've got the fire warning light and bell. Transponders standby. Rudder on trims 3 and 0. Gear extension door is closed. Circuit breakers are all in. Overhead panel here. We've got the stall warning test. Still a little longer for that. Mac airspeed warning test. Yeah, so remember it takes 4 minutes of AC power before you can do the storm warning test. IRS to nav, 8 minutes for the alignment. Circuit breakers, all on the captain side are in. Check the emergency equipment, tech logs in there with the correct registration. And we can now start the boarding. There we are, starting the flight deck. Dot Wallop, that aircraft made me nervous. Dot Wallop, you never know on the network. I've been hearing you've having problems with other streamers having problems. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Oh, Dot Wallop, what's we got here? VATSIM Velocity. When's that coming out? I did see the video on YouTube of your test run in Atlanta. Looks very promising. I think it was Atlanta, but yeah, looking really, really cool. Main 001, is this aircraft free? Yeah, completely free to download. Just type in ZIBO MOD X-Plane 11 and that will send you the link to the forum post for you to download it. Just pop that in your aircraft folder and off you go. You should have a fly deck to sim jumper. Eddie Babbo, we have all sorts of clothing on the Teespring site. I don't think we have jumpers. We have t-shirts and hoodies, that's for sure. Excellent. 2 tons of extra, absolutely. Let's carry on then. So, we've done those checks now. Let's have a look at the situation on VATSIM. So there's no ATC here at the moment. We will grab the weather then, or grab the meta. I'll do that actually using data link, which I never actually use in the ZIBO mod. Welcome. So, we'll request weather for Geneva, Lima, Sierra, Golf, Golf. And that is being sent. I think. Oh yeah, VHF in progress. Moustache merge coming in. Are you on VATSIM now? Yes. There we are. So, winds from the northeast, 0208 knots, so we can expect runway 04 for departure. Clear skies, 10k, 3 degrees, QNH is 1021, so we'll set the QNH 1021. We'll set 1,000 feet above this for the MFRA, which is 2,400 feet. There we go. Oops. A bit fiddly. There are 2,400 feet set. Carrying with the rest of the setup, 10121, 2,400 feet. I'll turn up the lighting here slightly. We're running the sim 5 hours behind live time at the moment. We are live weather because we just enjoy the beautiful scenery over the Alps. And now's a good time to load the flight management computer. So, index, ident. There we are, 737-800 winglets, latest database is installed, and FMC version. We are in Geneva, which is Lima, Sierra, Golf, Golf. We'll now select GPS left. Here, select our destination, which is Alicante, Lima Echo Alpha Lima. Call sign today is Alpaca. Where are we? Victor Charlie Papa. It's the 10th today, and we're using the Yoke cam for the first time. There you go, bit of inspiration. Runway 04 departure is going to be the Ballsy 9 November. For the Ballsy, we're going to be routing. Grab the flight plan. Up November 852 to Pivus.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Thank you very much, Dominic Orsini, for the $5. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Good morning, Captain.
Hello.
I participated in the previous FT2S group flight. Thanks for your superior organisational skills. Well done.
Oh, thank you, Dominic Orsini. You're most welcome. It's a great fun to organise those monthly group flights for the members as well. We'll get round to organising the next one soon. It probably won't be able to do it next weekend. It'll be the weekend after, because I'm flying next weekend, and there's always a risk at the moment because I'm flying most weekends that I can't do it. But yeah, I always like to set time to make sure everything gets organised properly. We'll have good slot times. ATC organised as well. Will be the 26th members. 25th will be the next members group flight. Absolutely crazy. We've done so many. Thank you very much, Dominic, for the $5, buddy. Very kind. Cool. So it's going to be the Gervo to Romeo, and it's usually the VR Zulu approach, which is straight in. We're going to actually fly the X-ray, which is based off a different VOR. There's 20-degree offset. It's a bit more fun, and it'll be the Bessel transition. We'll activate and execute, and we've got no discontinuities. We'll tidy that up later. I'll fine tune it. Right, performance 0 fuel weights 57.9. Reserves for our alternate is Palma de Mallorca, Lima Echo Papa Alpha. It's a sum of these two, so we need 3.1 tonnes to get there. So reserves are quite high. 3.1. Cost an X30. We're cruising over at 37,000 feet today. And that is executed. We can put in 370 there, and the overhead panel elevation is correct as well, 150. Top of climb wind is 347 at 102. And we'll put the average wind in, which is 345 at 71. Lex route data. There we are, 345 at 71. And carrying on. I don't have any performance data for Geneva for departure. Just get the LS deviation in -2. So I'm going to go 22k, assume temperature 40. Did that earlier, worked out perfectly. N1 will be 88.3 with the bleeds on. It's 87.7. And take off flap 5. CG 6 units, which I'll set using my yoke. And that's 6 units set, and the V speeds are 43, 43, 46, punching in 146 in the MCP. There we are, just need to do the overhead panel scan next. Why not level up today, Captain BX7 iOS? So, the level up, guys, I'm going to be using more in the future. It is basically the ZIBO mod with additional a custom flight model made by the level up team for each aircraft. But the ZIBO mod is sort of like the core aircraft with the level up, and I work with ZIBO directly.
Deck fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Thanks, Jason. I work with ZIBO directly, providing feedback as well, so I'll always be reverting back to the ZIBO mod as well. And also, they need to do some work on the flight model still, so things like the roll response control input responses are a bit delayed and slow at the moment. Too much drag on the flight model, but overall it's a really good solid aircraft. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to develop and providing feedback if the team have any. Steve J61, thank you very much for your membership. I don't know why that's not pinged through. And George WO for your donation. I think sometimes Streamlabs can be a bit delayed.
50,
Oh, here it comes.
40,
Welcome to the party.
30,
Streamlabs.
20, 10.
Always takes a while. Thanks for the fiver, buddy.
I have my first set of CAAs next week, so this stream is my instruments revision. Smiley face.
Thank you very much, George WO, for the £5. Remember, this is only for your entertainment, not to be used for any real form of instructional flight training, but I guess you can find some use in it. But thank you very much for your donation. Best of luck with your initial ground school exams, it sounds like there, and I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. Thank you very much indeed for your donation. Best of luck to you as well. Harry Addon, the new X-Pilot beta has aircraft noises for other aircraft, which is also pretty cool. I didn't know that. I'll try that at some point. I'm still using the main version at the moment. Excellent. Good morning, Patrick. I hope you're doing well. Martina, the iris alignment is done. Excellent. Chris started without me again. Sorry about that, buddy. Right, we'll carry on with the rest of the setup. Onto the overhead panel now. So, yaw dampers on, nav transferred, space switches normal auto, fuel, 4 pumps on, check the cross-feed valve, bright, dim, bright, and off. We'll have fuel in the centre tank, yes, a ton, so we'll pop on the centre tank pumps as well. Cabin utility is on, and IFE galley power, IDG switches are closed. We'll get the AP up and running now, so we'll be pushing back in about 5 minutes. Panel lighting, we'll turn that up as well. Oops, turn that up as well. Seatbelt sign is on because fueling's complete. Window heat on at this stage. Probeat later. We can anti-ice off at this stage as well. Voice recorder's on. Trim air's on. Packs auto. And lights to steady. So onto the MCP. First things first, flight director's on. We don't have any ATC at the moment, so we'll follow the SID's initial plan to climb to flight level 90. So we'll set 9-1 until we... Oh, there's no ATC at all, so I'll just set 90. Imagine we've got the clearance. Courses then, I want 044 here. I'll explain why later. And then 229 here. Frequency wise, I want to have active 1575 down here. 15.75 and 15.4 on standby. And then active this side 15.4 and on standby 16.6. As I said, all will be explained shortly. We'll get that AP on the bus. There we are, so we get the GPU disconnected shortly. Auto brake to RTO, reset the fuel flow and the standby artificial horizon. Taylor, is there any particular reasons why the probe heats don't come on yet? No, I actually don't know the real reason. Is you don't need it in freezing conditions.
50,
we'd have it on, Taylor.
40,
So if the temperature
30,
was
20,
below
10.
3 degrees with visible moisture, we'd actually turn it on at this stage, but there's no need. You don't need it. Thanks, Hayden.
Last time I flew alpaca I lost a bag. But then I flew llama and lost an arm and 5 teeth. Smiley face.
Thanks, Hayden, for the 5. Very kind of you. Don't ever fly with Llama International Airlines unless you want to be rid of your teeth or any other parts of your body, you would seem. At least you only lose your bag with us, Hayden. Thank you very much for your donation. That's very kind of you indeed. Slick, is the level up 737 worth it? Yes, I think if you want to be flying the other variants, especially the 6-700 and the 900 super stretch, easy to tailstrike version, go for it as well. But I'd stick, if you want to fly the 800, I'd still stick with the ZIBO mod until they've made some improvements to the flight model as well. Again, it's not a complaint, it is just a fact of the matter that it needs improving or needs some tweaking to improve. Right, MCP set, we've done all that, trim's all set, excellent, so we'll now get better pushback ordered. Actually, no, do we in Geneva? That's actually a really good question. Can we just taxi straight ahead? No, I should think we need pushback, don't we? I actually have no idea. I should think we yeah, I think we need pushback, because surely the jet bridge can't retract that much to keep the wing clear. It's just that how do we actually get pushed back to what would be a realistic way of getting pushed back here?
Down to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I think something maybe like it'll be a long push to face all the way on this taxiway. I'm not 100% sure. I think it'll be something like that, but I don't quote me on that. I actually would need ATC to confirm. We'll do something like that, quite a long push.
Down to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Oh, ISA says you can go ahead. The jet bridge will turn, so don't need it. Ah, you can just taxi out. Right, cancel. Really, I didn't know that. Stop pushback. There we go. Well, I'll fix that. Excellent. So, I've got something. That's weird, because on my... Oops, that was my parking brake accidentally released. Guys, I think my push to talk button's stuck down on that sim. I'm hoping no one's on this frequency. Yeah, hold on, guys. I've just realised something. My better pushback on my yoke. My push to talk button is stuck down, so I'm just going to have to change that command. I set it all up before there, but the button I'm using on the joystick. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I've just reassigned the button on my joystick. Thank goodness it wasn't. It wasn't actually on Unicom. It was on a different frequency, because I would have been talking to everyone on that frequency for the whole time. Yoke cam or lie. What's that, Beercha? We already had the yoke cam on several times. But yeah, hot mic. I was actually hot micing for about, well, how long has the stream been going? 25 minutes on frequency. Thankfully, no one was listening. Well, I hope not. Anyway, right. So I'm over to Unicom. APU's running. Yeah, let's just brief the departures, and then we'll get the engine started and get out of here. So. We're on stand 32. We're just going to then taxi forward, as guys have told me. Where are you, stand 32? There we are. And we'll probably just go all the way on inner taxiway, then link 3, long way around, and then we'll go all the way to Golf. Now, all those courses and frequencies you saw me tune, that's because we're flying this particular departure, and it's one of the reasons I actually wanted to fly from Geneva today, because it will give me a chance to do some raw data flying, but actually we'll flick over to VOR center mode. So what we're going to do is climb straight ahead off runway 04, off the 044 radial, which I have set the course there, and it's active. Active frequency. Look, you can see Golf Victor Alpha. We'll keep going on that radial until we get to 8 miles. We could turn right when passing 5,000 feet, but not before 8 miles, so we will be above 5,000 feet already. We just must wait for the 8 miles. So now right turn onto a heading of 184. On that heading, we'll then intercept the radial 049 inbound to Chambry. until we get to this point here, then we simply switch from that radial onto a different VOR, the Passeri VOR, 180 outbound, 10 miles from Passeri, 100 above, 120 above. But I'm going to fly at raw data. We're going to level off at 90, try doing my best to hand fly the entire departure. We'll just check it's in the FMS correctly. So we'll step through that. Yep, you can see it's all coded. And there we go outbound as well. Just want to make sure we have 220 knots for the first turn, which is an operator SOP. So at that intercept point, I'll just put 220 or below. Execute. Not that I'll be needing it, because I won't be using VNav or any of the commands today. Right, that's all good. We'll advise everyone on Unicom that we're about to push back, and we'll go from there. Actually, no, we're not pushing back, it's starting the engines, aren't we? So I don't need to talk on Unicom just yet, so that's fine. No ATC, just confirmed. So pack's off, AP bleed on, anti-vision light is on, parking brake. We leave set, we're starting engines on stand, and GPU's disconnected, and we'll start now engine number 2. What exactly is a yoke cam? Hold on. That's a yoke cam. It's my yoke. There you go. N2. Oil pressure. N1. Excellent. Have you got the Where's Wally jumper too? It actually is pretty Where's Wally. That's just still clambering on board. Actually, did she shut the door? Oh no, I didn't. Actually, what's the trigger for her to do all that stuff? It's release the parking brake, isn't it? I'll do that quickly and then reset it. And then hopefully she'll secure the cabin. Right, 2463, stable, starting engine number 1. N2. Sounds like they're still boarding. Oh, it's the beacon light. Did I not turn the beacon light on? Yeah, beacon light's on. N2. Oil pressure. N1. Maybe it's pushback, I don't know. I know, Andy, yes. You'll see my chin otherwise. The beacon used to close the door. Beacon. Yeah, beacon's on. Oh, did I not press start flight leg? No, I'm pretty sure I did that. Yeah. Terminate flight leg. Not sure. Excellent. Wing light. No, that's cabin. That's for cabin secure before takeoff. Well, we'll just start taxiing anyway. Right, starter cut out. Monitoring engine number 1. 2463. There we are. So 29 and 1. 2 are stable. So 4 taxi generators on. AP off. Start switches continuous. Probe on. Anti-ice off. Air conditioning. Packs auto. That can go to order. AP bleed off. And set flaps. 5. So, flight controls, I'll bring up the yoke cam for this. Hold on. So, flight controls, when we do this in the real aircraft, we're making very slow, deliberate inputs at all times. So, full forwards, and full back, full left, centre, full right, centre. Then, where the tiller is down here, you put your hand on the tiller, and then you just hold, whilst holding that full left, full left and full right. Obviously, the tiller's moving in the sim. There's nothing you can do about that. Then we'll check recall and blank the lower DU, and then we complete the before taxi checklist, which we'll imagine is complete. And we'll now commence taxi. And I'll leave the. Well, I'll tell you, it's not much point watching the yoke again. Well, no, actually, I'll show you whilst we're taxiing the thrust lever and stuff. Oh, the seatbelt sign needs to be on. Yeah, seatbelt sign is on. It's all on. Maybe that one. I do it the same thing every time. I don't know why they're still boarding or something there, but I will now close the door. Are you in my jammies? No, it's my stripy jumper. Right, we'll tell Unicom that we're taxiing. And Geneva traffic alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie taxiing runway 04. Right, so I have the brake actually on a little trigger here, which is a bit annoying, but that's the way I'm still using it. Is the door no, doors are closed. Not sure, not sure. Right, we'll do a config check, so just smoothly advance the thrust levers all the way. There we go, and then we immediately close them, and then we just set about 35% to get the aircraft moving. Why is lower DU blank, says Lair? It's to make sure that in events of an engine failure, the lower DU will pop up. Obviously in the desktop sim it's a little bit more of a pain, a bit of a challenge to see it, but in reality you'd really notice that screen turning on, and then you'd realise that there's an issue with the engine, so that's why we blank it. Did you load the passengers after the restart? Yep. Not sure. Beautiful scenery here, this is Aerosoft scenery, along with the Geneva Ortho 4XP. Oh, I just nearly ran over a catering truck, but I did then run over a ground handling company with the GPU, lovely. Dad body room. Oh yeah, I've got a bit of a belly on me. Using the tablet to control the camera. Yeah, so that's the Streamlabs desk. You have I can control Streamlabs overlays using the iPad, which I'll then eventually switch over to Navigraph charts when I get airborne. And it sits beautifully on the yoke just there. So maximum 10 knots for the turn, and then when you're halfway around that corner, obviously the spool up time for the engines at low end one's a little bit unrealistic in the mods. It's a little bit too quick, but that's more a limitation in X-Plane 11. Anyway, I'll switch back on the normal cam. I promise you, when we get to the runway, I'll switch over to the other one. That way I can actually have freedom of where I put my face. How much is TCA? It's quite expensive, Robert. I think it's $450 US or $500 US. For me, the yoke is the best part. The quadrant's fine. The plastic's like a little bit lighter and a bit cheaper, but its functionality is completely fine. The actual yoke itself is actually really good. Like the quality of it's really solid. Big fan of it. I've been looking forward to planning a stream for a while. What's the master sound add-on you are using? What on earth is that about? I have absolutely no idea what you even mean there. Where did the flight strip go? What's that you're referring to as well there? What system would fail if GPS fails, BJ? If you had a single GPS failure, not much really. You can just continue normal operation. I just realised I forgot to set the runway heading, which is 044. But you could have issues with certain RNAV approaches if you had a dual GPS failure. Why is the plane bobbing up left and right a little bit? I think it's just that Aerosoft scenery isn't completely flat, so they can't build sort of perfect curves in the taxiway all the time, so it's a little bit blocky in shapes, which makes the aircraft look like it's sort of taxiing over something not so smooth. Ricardo, are we back in the ZIBO? Why is everyone thinking that the Level D is a replacement for the ZIBO? Sorry, not Level D, the Level Up. The Level Up isn't a ZIBO replacement. It uses ZIBO systems, but the flight model and the dynamics need a lot more. There's a lot more need for improvement in that area. So this is still the most realistic 737 in a desktop sim, especially in X-Plane 11. Especially when I want to demonstrate the yoke cam and the hand fly of no flight directors. The flight control inputs for the level up is far too delayed at the moment, even with the experimental flight model on, which is meant to be. You know, you make a full left or right turn, and it rolls too slow, pitches too slow, it's too draggy, the thrust settings are all wrong for each stages of flight, so it is a great aircraft, it's just not, you know, when I'm using the yoke, especially today to hand fly, it wouldn't have been suitable. Hello Rory, hope you're doing well, very good evening to you as well, sir, just seen your comment pop up there. Oh look, I'm all over the place, look, because I've got a yoke cam, I forgot to put my lights on to taxi. Unbelievable. AYOPS in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Right, here we are at Golf. Best to do the before takeoff checklist. So config we checked. Flaps we have 5 green lights. Stab trim set for departure, which is 6 units set. Takeoff briefing Got pack sorted bleeds on, V-speed set for departure, 43, 43, 46 set. Now, we're going to be hand flying this SID. We'll be going straight ahead on radial 044, passing 5,000 feet, but not 8 miles before Geneva. We'll make a right turn 184 degrees. We'll then intercept radial 049, inbound to Chambéry, climbing to flight level 90, which is set on the MCP NADP2, so we'll accelerate to 2,400 feet. Any problems? I don't have any emergency procedures for this departures here, so we'll just climb straight ahead overhead Lake Geneva and work out what to do. There we are. Checklist is complete, so just set the parking brake. Just check what the traffic situation is, see if there's anyone on final. So we are next. We'll just wait for the aircraft to depart,
40,
and looks like no one's
30,
on the approach there.
20,
so looking
10.
good. Thank you very much, Robert S, for the €2. Very kind of you, sir.
738 for live. ZIBO for the sim. Zany face.
I think what you're trying to say, Robert, 738 for live, ZIBO for the sim? Huh? I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Robert S, but yeah, ZIBO is what you want for your 738 sim, that's for sure. And then 738 real life, I'm not sure, but read there, buddy, but thank you very much for the €2, very kind. Can we see Jack whilst the Yoke camp is on? Yeah, I might bring him at one point. Jack is busy reading the charts. He's in the lounge somewhere on his back, probably with his paws in the air. There we are. Anyway, looks like that alpaca is blasting off. There we are. So we'll now put the lights on, strobe lights on, so just release the parking brake, transponder TAR ray, weather radars on, and there we are. So MCP is set, transponder TARA, strobe lights are on, landing lights on, imagine we've got our takeoff clearance, and checklist is all complete, so we'll go over to Yoke Cam. There we are. Just fine-tuning the thrust levers. What's quite funny in the real aircraft as well, sometimes you might have a slight split in the thrust levers, so it can be a bit fiddly to set the M1s when there's a slight difference. It's something you just get with the real aircraft. There we are. Once I have Yoke Cam on, I can switch over to my charts, which helps my situation awareness, exactly what we'd have on if I was flying the SID in real life. I have the charts open on my left-hand side. And I'm going to completely hand fly this departures. I'm just going to use the flight directors initially, once we're airborne, but then I'll be switching over to turning the flight directors off pretty much soon after we've bugged up. So we'll get the tokens in chat. First ever Yoke Cam takeoff, guys. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll try my best to explain what I'm doing at each stage as well. Just get lined up here. There we are. Turn off the music, which is very quietly in the background. Noise down here, just down slightly. Right. So there's timing. If first officer was flying, I'd hand over control to him, and then we'd just initially set 40%. I've got a toga button mapped here on my pedestal, so I'll push that now. So toga, auto throttle disconnect. There's a slight split there, not a problem, I'll set it manually. So set takeoff thrust, hand on the thrust lever stays there, light forward pressure on the control column as well, and your hand stays exactly there until you get to V1.
50.
Oh, that was bad
40,
timing, I forgot to turn it off.
30,
Checked.
20, 10.
Release the forward pressure.
I meant for life, sorry. Embarrassed smiley face.
No idea what's going on. Right, thanks whoever that was. Hand on the thrust levers, rotate, so light, back pressure, there's the rotation rate, then keep pulling back through the dead bound. Keep that rotation rate going until you're onto the flight directors. Pause rate of climb, gears coming up, and then smoothly pitch onto the flight directors. We're nicely in trim already, and looking good.
400.
Verify the roll mode, which is LNAV, little flyby. Absolutely resplendent. Right, there we are.
1,000.
So 1,000 feet we can bug up, so I can use the control on here. Now you'll notice it's very slow. I don't know how to get it to speed up. The flight directors will slowly pitch down to beat the attitude to accelerate, which is around 8 degrees. I'm going to turn off the flight directors now. There we are. So completely blind, let's say, nothing to follow. Now select flap 1. And as we accelerate, I'll need to trim nose down. So just hold the attitude about 8 degrees here, just allow the aircraft to smoothly accelerate. There's the one bug, so we can now select flaps up. Continuing to trim nose down. I have absolutely no capacity at all to read chat for the next 5 minutes as well, guys, so do bear with me. If you have any questions about anything later, I'll be able to do that in the cruise. So now I'm just going to pitch up to maintain the upspeed initially. And trim to maintain that speed for a second. There we are. So flaps are up, no lights. So again, I've got no flight directors on, so there's no point selecting any modes on the MCP. There's no flight directors. Again, just going to set that attitude to about 8 degrees. Just get the aircraft to accelerate to 220 knots actually for that initial turn. Start pitching up to maintain 220 knots and set standard. Engine anti-ice on. This is where you really wish you had pilot monitoring. It's a lot to do here. There we are, there's 220 knots. And we're just waiting for 8 DME from Geneva. Let's just trim that out. And we'll level off at, what I'm going to do is initially level off at 90 and 220 knots, just as we get around that turn. And then we'll continue climb up to the cruise level once we're there. So anticipating that level off now, which is at 2 to go. So just going to take a little bit of thrust off. Not too much, just to maintain 220 knots still. Just trying to do about 2,000 feet per minute. Just making lots of smooth inputs. A little bit fast, but that's okay. But that's 2,000 feet plugged in. Just about 8 degrees. Thanks for subscribing, whoever that is. Approaching 1 to go. There's 8 DME, so we're going to start a turn at 25 degrees angler bank. 1 to go, so I'm just going to lower that attitude a little more. At around, so about 6 degrees. Take a bit more thrust off. There we go. 25 degrees between the 20 and the 30 degree pitch point. Just going to pitch up slightly more than 1,000 feet, just to get the speed back to 220 knots. We'll level off at 90, which we'll probably do during the turn here.
Welcome.
Thanks for subscribing. Looking good. Speed's good. Climb rate's nice. So in the level off in the turn at this height, about 220 knots, probably about 60% N1. So there we are. Get the attitude about 4 degrees. Set the target N1. A little bit low leveling off, but that's fine. We can tighten it up. Anticipating the heading 184 degrees. There we are. And then we'll complete the after takeoff checklist once we get trimmed out here at 90. That's looking good. So here we are, rolling wings level. And as your wings level, you have to push nose down slightly because the aircraft wants to continue climbing. There we are. Pretty much in trim. Look, well, let me just get wings level. Very nice. Oh no, don't tell me ATC. Workload's high enough already. Oh no. Yeah, I know I'm not on Unicom. I'm not, because people spam me otherwise. I'm hearing it and I turned it off. Thank you very much, random person. Right. There we are. So once it's in trim, you should be able to let go. So you have let go, and it's holding 90, 220 knots, no input whatsoever. Look, and it's just slowly turning. I'm sure why. That'll be a slight difference in there, one between the engines, but all level. We'll quickly rattle through the after takeoff checklist. So gears off, water brakes off, engine anti-ice off, air conditioning and pressurization is 3.0 and set. Well, still hand fly, remember. And now I'm going to go over to the next VOR actually. I'm still kind of following the magenta line, so let me just get outbound here. Next radial was 229. Get away with doing this in real life. Pilot flying is flying the controls. Pilot monitoring will be manipulating the MCP at this stage. 16. Let's see, VOI 1. 16.6. No. it's so hard to do. It's so hard to do this whilst hand flying. Look at no wonder I can't maintain height trying to tune frequencies. That's why there's two of us, and we have an autopilot. I'm trying to hand fly with no flight directors and tune up ILS VOR frequencies and everything in hand flight. It's pretty much impossible. Can't even find what VOR I need. It was the Chambry 15.4. Just get trimmed out here. 15.4. Hooray! So if I go to VOR, look, centre, we can go a little bit old school. There we are. So we're now going to carry on climbing up to our cruise level, which is 370, which is set. We'll now go for climb thrust. So sorry, I was just descending there. That's like I said, I'm trying to do the job of PM and PF. Now the nose wants to shoot up when you add thrust. That's classic thrust pitch couple. So we're just going to accelerate to 250 knots, and now I'm going to start pitching up to climb. Although if you don't push nose down, the aircraft will shoot up on its own. It'll just want to climb there, a bit higher in altitude there. Well, it's quite tricky to judge here. So we can now bug out equal climb speed, which will be about 290 knots. So there's our pre-cruise checkpoint here. So I'm just going to set the attitude to around 5 degrees. That should give me about 1,000 feet per minute. Just let the aircraft accelerate. Trimming nose down as we accelerate as well. Do you have a chin? I do have a chin. 5,000 feet vertical speed. Yeah, it's not easy. I would like anyone, if they're judging me, to have a go themselves. But this is a big misconception amongst many of you. You think that 4.5, 5,000 feet per minute is unusual. They are normal rates of climbs and rates of descent. When we're empty, we are climbing at 5,000 feet per minute. When we're trying to recover energy, if we're high on profile and descending quickly, we can descend at 4.5, 5,000 feet per minute every day, no problem, and you won't even notice it as a passenger. So look at this, I'm now pitching up, again, a little bit too excessively, but up to 3.5, 4,000 feet at this gross weight, it's not unusual. It is not unusual at all. Anyway, you can see, look, there's a little bit of drift here because of the wind. That's what I was flying there with the track. But yeah, nicely trimmed out now to maintain about 290 knots. Just get ready for that left turn for our next radio, which was 180 outbound from Papa Alpha Sierra. It's going to be even harder in a bit because I've got to fly a manually flown non-precision approach, which is 20 degrees offset with the yoke cam. There we are, so in the turn. Just to lower the nose slightly during the turn as well, otherwise the speed will wash off. Overshot that turn ever so slightly. It's very tempting to increase the angle of bank to get back onto your track. It's just try and limit it to 25. You can bank up to 30, but 30 degrees would be a little excessive in normal operation. Anything beyond that is not approved in normal flight. There we are. So rolling wings level, just to about 1,000 feet per minute again, just until we get back to our target speed. There we are, and pitching back up to maintain 290 knots. And trim. There we are, just a little bit too high up on the nose, see the speed's just washing off. Just reset attitude, let's try about 4 degrees. There we are, in trim again. Looking good. And once it's in trim, look, no input required at all. That's just like the real aircraft as well. And we'll get the automation in now, so if you've been completely hand flying like this, there's a few steps you need to do, and in this order. That's the caution field, we'll look at that in a second. So first things first, always flight directors on, roll mode and pitch mode, so LNAV and VNAV, on the flight directors, commands, auto throttle, and that's it, that's the re-engagement procedure, as per SOP. There you are, I hope you enjoyed that. What do you think, guys? Did you enjoy that? That was good fun for me, I really enjoyed that. Oh, the auto throttle sometimes disconnects though when you sometimes there's a bit of noise, so I end up actually having to close the thrust levers and re-engage the auto throttle, because it's like with the real 737. With the real 737, if there's any split between the thrust levers, it'll automatically disconnect the auto throttle. Oh yeah, master caution fuel. There we go. So set the pumps off. But that was quite tricky, and the pitch and power settings were quite quite close to the real aircraft as well.
40,
There's a bit of
30,
you know, a little bit
20,
of it's a
10.
little bit more sensitive, the peripherals in X-Plane. Oh, thanks, Ben.
Absolute masterclass.
Oh.
Grab a beer after that.
Oh, no problem at all, Ben. That's crazy. Thank you very much for your generosity, buddy. I will grab a beer. I'm actually drinking water today. You can actually see whatever I'm drinking now these days when I'm streaming. So I've got my Yoke cam. No, I really appreciate that, Ben. Thank you very much for your continued support as well, buddy. Robert S., that was you on takeoff, sorry. So I meant for life. Got you, Robert S. So 738 for life, ZIBO for the sim. I'm sorry I didn't understand what you were getting at there, but yeah, that's right, Robert. Thank you very much for your generosity. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed. Brandon, in real life, are you allowed to fly with auto throttle on but autopilot disconnected? So Boeing say for the 737, Brandon, that when you're hand flying, you should be hand flying with, if your autopilot is disconnected, you should have the auto throttle disconnected. The exceptions are on takeoff, when you have toga thrust engaged, and for missed approaches, where you can push toga on the go around and the auto throttle will set go around thrust for you. Again, with the TCA quadrant, I found, as I was just saying, with the real aircraft, a split between the thrust levers will disconnect the auto throttle, and sometimes it could only take the slightest split in the ZIBO mod or the quadrant for it to disconnect the auto throttle as well. So we are going to fly a missed approach today, hand fly it. You'll probably notice the auto throttle disconnecting. It's not me doing it on purpose, it's just because it's detected a small difference between the two thrust levers, which is causing the auto throttle to disconnect there. Hi Andy, came in just in time for takeoff. Absolutely fascinating. Now, it was really enjoyable, and you know, hand flying it like that with flight directors off. I mean, we can't turn flight directors off in reality. In the sim for recurrent training we do to practice our hand flying techniques, but well, we're not actually permitted to turn them off. So it is quite useful. And the ZIBO mod is great because the pitch power settings pretty much match the real aircraft. I did actually test it earlier and noticed that the clean configuration at the moment, I don't know if it was the experimental flight model doing something, but
50,
it was
40,
a little bit too
30,
little thrust required.
20, 10.
Thanks, Warrior.
It was me on VATS and that message too. I meant you are on the wrong frequency, so nobody at Geneva heard you speaking.
On 1228, I was pretty sure I was, Warrior, unless there's an issue with my
30,
push to talk button on here, but
20,
it's
10.
It's definitely showing me transmitting. Oh, it's now showing me stuck again.
This is not a realistic winter flight to Alicante. We were not delayed for 30 minutes boarding 50 special assistance passengers.
Unbelievable, Nature Flops. Well, thank you very much to the Fiver as well. Well, yeah, Warrior Lad, sorry. Yeah, I was actually on the climb out. I was hearing some nonsense on the Unicom, so I just I have it turned. When I'm on the Unicom, when there's no ATC, there's no point in staying on it. So I actually listen to it just on my own. I actually don't have it on the streaming, just because one every 3 times you get some plonker just trying to be heard on the sim. So I have it turned down for you guys. There's no point otherwise using it unless there's real ATC. So yeah, that's probably why I've had it on for taxi takeoff, and I switched it off onto a private frequency there, so that might be why you couldn't hear anyone more around. But thanks to the Fiver and for highlighting it. Natural Flops, thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of winter flights to Alicante. You usually get a lot of PRMs, that is true. This usually delays sometimes, but that is the way it is. Thank you very much for the Fiver, Natural Flops, really appreciate it, buddy. Excellent. TF, will the circuit breakers work in the ZIBO mod? No, they are not modelled. Unlike the amazing Hot Start we tried out. That aircraft, guys, is something else, really. I mean, I'm not comparing it directly to the ZIBO mod. The ZIBO mod's amazing. It's the best 738 we can get. But that Hot Start Challenger 650 is on another level. Really quite amazed when we were streaming it how immersive it was, how everything was modelled. Brilliant. We'll definitely fly that again soon, that's for sure. Yeah, that is a solid tailwind. Look at that, 522 knots ground speed. We are shifting. Right, best do the pre-cruise checks now. So fuel, 4 pumps, lights off, APU is off, pressurization 6.8, set List cabin crew. They've still got something on green cool. There we are. Checks complete. Everyone's going to be asking, where is Yoke Cam? If you're just coming in here in the cruise, it's very little point having a Yoke Cam with the autopilot in. All of the takeoff we just had flew for about 12 minutes was Yoke Cam, and the entire approach and go around, I will do shortly, will be Yoke Cam as well. You'll be pleased to hear. TF, will it work in the future? What do you think? That's a lot of modelling and systems doing, so I don't think it'll be coming any time in the near future. Modelling of the circuit breaker system in the ZIBO mod. You've got to remember, TF, Challenger 650 is a complex aircraft anyway, and that has taken the team 3 solid years of work to make, and they're modelling things that you wouldn't even think about or worry about modelling. I mean, each one of the individual flight control computers is modelled and working independently as per the real aircraft. So if someone was actually to take the time that Hotstar have on a commercial airliner like a 73 or an Airbus, it would be 5, I don't even know how many years, but it's too much work. I can understand why no one would take that on, but the Hotstar did it with the Challenger 650, and an amazing piece of work. No, except for the flight model, PMDG is still the best, isn't it? For the systems especially. Yeah, I think for the systems, no, the PMDG is you know, for failure management, they've got a whole raft of failure systems working, and I think their FMC, when I last flew it, which was some time ago, the FMC, could it do holds properly, or sometimes it would not hold? I remember when I was recording tutorials, I had problems with holding. But it is very good, and no doubt their Microsoft Flight Simulator Edition will be an excellent aircraft. Stephen, evening sir, how come you don't use your radio tuning panel? I am using my radio tuning panel, Stephen Turley. What do you mean? it's all set. Harry, why did you switch to X-Plane 11 from PMDG? Well, from a sim to an aircraft, slightly different, Harry, but probably asking, why did I switch from FSX or Prepared to X-Plane 11? It's a far better course simulator, in my opinion. Aircraft handle a lot more realistically, feel a lot more realistic as well. If you're asking why did I switch from PMDG to ZIBO, X-Plane 11 is the primary reason. Astrodew, hi Captain, will we use the Yoke with other planes like the Indy or Thelis? Probably not, Astrodew, just because as much as I like using the Yoke and the feeling I get when flying with it is great, so I really enjoy hand flying it. Most of the time when I'm streaming, I'm not hand flying enough to enjoy the Yoke, and obviously I'm very fortunate to fly the real aircraft, so I feel it, I use it every day. So from that perspective, the Yoke Cam won't be every stream, it'll be most streams I think moving forward with the ZIBO mod, because I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that and see the inputs I'm making, but I'm not going to be hand flying the whole time every time, so it's to me to get it all plugged in, it's not such a pain. But you know, if I turn it on again now, we just switch Streamlabs deck over. People keep asking, where's the Yoke Cam? There it is again. So me to get this all set up, it renders the desk quite unusable, and I do a lot of other work on my desk, so yeah, it only takes a couple of minutes, I suppose, to get it all clamped in and everything. I don't know, I'll use it a bit more. I think a lot of people are going to be going, yes, I want to see Yoke Cam all the time as well, and I want to see Julia Roberts and shameless merch plugs. I need to get my Flight Deck Sim mug and wear the hoodie. Excellent. But yeah, that's it. There's my hands. Look, real hands, everyone. Unbelievable. Where's the egg cam? What? Hi, Felis. Long time no here, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Felis, if you don't know everyone, is the creator of the amazing Felis 747-200. One of my favourite aircraft, actually. Pedal cam, that is a good point actually. Rudder pedal cam. I need an additional web camera for that. 2 turns cam is a must. Okay, I hear you. R-Bauer 25, he is real. Fake hands. A public hand reveal. Unbelievable. But this approach we're going to fly today is awesome, guys. 20-degree offset. It's not the usual approach onto runway 28 in Alicante. It's usually if one of the VORs are inoperative. But it will be really cool to fly. And What's our top percent going to be anyway? 334 miles, about 45 minutes from now. Jacob, moustache reveal at the end. I'm not revealing my moustache. ADS Legend, don't know if you saw it yesterday in Discord, but the pain I went just to get Ortho tiles to work, but well worth the pain in the end. Once you get used to using Ortho tiles, it's very easy. We'll just pop outside actually. Well, actually, I used some of the tiles from last stream, but I just downloaded Zoom level 15 tiles. So this is very quiet. This is Zoom level 15. You wouldn't tell. You couldn't tell, could you? Zoom level 15. About half a. I think it's half a gig. There we are, and it looks amazing. Big map's quite good for Europe. Quite a reliable source. And then we have Orbex True Earth for southern Spain. There we are.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Cheers, Bert fella. Thank you very much.
Fantastic to see your awesome skill and hand flying. You should be a pilot. Waving hand, man with beard.
Thanks a lot, Bert Phil. Appreciate the £5. Very good. He's there you go. Just for your generosity. There's Julia Roberts to say thanks. Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. Cheers, Bert fella. Very kind. Ben, how was Ortho on FPS for your old computer? Very much dependent on the tile size. Zoom level 17 absolutely destroyed my processor on my old PC because I had to pull it all in. Zoom level 15, the tile size is about 1/20th the size, even though at this point, at this height, it looks absolutely no different. So Zoom level 15 is online, for en route is fine. Resolution not great if you're landing into the airport. You want 17 really for that. So I do 17 round the airport and then 15 en route. Because Zoom level 17 tiles about 8 gig. It's quite big. Robert's cam can be seen. Guys, would you like to see Jack for the first ever time live? I can call him in. He's probably on his bed, but the problem is he'll jump up and pull all the cables out. He has a habit of doing that. Is there a process for how to get 17 around an airport? I just do it manually, Taylor. So basically, I just choose the tile that the airport's on, and if it's like right on the edge of the tile, I'll choose the tile next to it as well. So there's a couple of tiles. Let me call him, guys. Hold on, I'll be back in literally 2 seconds because I think he's in the lounge with the door shut. And if I get a treat for him, he'll definitely jump on my lap then. Right, give me 2 seconds, guys. Oh, he's already come here already. Oh, well, I'll get you a treat anyway, because you're a good boy. 2 seconds, guys. There we are. Jack is here. Let me just turn on webcam. So I've coaxed him in here because I've got him some doggy peanut butter. It's like salt free and stuff. He goes absolutely crazy for this stuff. So all I need to do is put a little bit of this on my finger, like this. There we are. What's this? Come on then. Up. No, not on your bed. Come here. Oh. Yeah, here, look. Can you see? I don't know if you can see him. No, here, look. There we go. Now you want to look at the camera. I'll try and get him to look at the camera a bit more. He goes, he loves this stuff. Come here then. Up. He's trying to. Oh, bless him. Come on then. Up. Up. Ah. Look at the camera. There you go. Oh, perfect. Look at that. There you go. That's Jack live. Amazing. First ever time. No, I've got no more, you greedy beggar. Amazing. Good boy. That's his tail whacking on the table now. Steve, 93, thank you very much, 5 months member. Moustache and Jack reveal, best stream by far, 10 out of 10. Thank you very much. So tempted to show you my squiggly moustache, but I'm not going to do. Oh, Steven's bought a mug. I'm not even plugging the merch, and he's bought the mug. Thank you very much, Steven. I can't read the comment. It's just so small on Streamlabs. It never comes up, and it doesn't even put it in the feed afterwards with regards to the comment.
40, 30,
so yeah, amazing.
20,
Thank you very much,
10.
Stephen, for that, and I hope you enjoy drinking many a brew from that mug. Thank you, Andy B.
Dogs in the cockpit. I've seen everything.
There you go. Thank you very much, Andy, as well. Really appreciate it, buddy. I just realised I had my Yoke cam on still. There we are. Yeah, there's some more peanut butter. There you go. Go on, off you get. Go get mommy. Good boy. There we are. Amazing. I really need another mug. Apparently that was a comment. Cheers, Andy, for that. On your bed then. Come on your bed. Amazing. Thanks a lot, Stephen. Because I need another mug. Amazing. Oh yes, there are other doggy-friendly peanut butter brands available as well. Oh dear. Unbelievable. Hi Diffie, nice to see you, buddy.
50.
He needs a
40,
full fingerful, not that
30,
tiny amount. Oh, Paul, if he did that,
20,
he'd lick my hand
10.
to death. Oh my goodness, Her Majesty the Queen is here as well.
One is not amused at being replaced by Miss Roberts as your most revered passenger. Just goes to show what new money can buy.
Thank you very much, Lizzie Windsor, for the £3. That's very generous of you. Oh, Miss Windsor, Miss Windsor, Your Majesty, you know, Julia Roberts is you know, nothing in comparison to you and your continued support for the channel. Thank you very much. And I will also get a cardboard cutout of you. Hey, let's see. Put you next to Julia Roberts. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Lizzie. Really appreciate it. Amazing. Rosny, hey, I have a question. How do you place your orthos? I guess you delete them after a sector. Yeah, Rosny, what I usually do is once I completed the sector, I don't keep them on my PC. I used to, but the fact that I've got quite quick internet since I moved house, so I can download, for most sectors I do, so an hour and a half. So a couple of Zoom level 17 tiles around the airport, so I'll do one download with those, so maybe 4 tiles around my destination arrival airport, then en route Zoom level 15, probably takes, if I leave my computer to it, about an hour and a half, and then I just simply copy and paste the shortcuts to the custom scenery file, and then when I'm done I delete them. It's no big deal, so I don't really need my second ortho drive anymore. The reason is, if I use Zoom level 15 and then decide to fly for an airport that was on one of those tiles, I've got the wrong size tile anyway. So yeah, I'm pretty much I use, and then once I've done it for the stream, I'll delete it as well. John Captain Canada for a while had a Daisy cam. He ended up using the camera to showcase the FMC that's compatible with the ZIBO. Ah, very cool. Yeah, I won't get a Jack cam, but Yoke cam's pretty cool. Where's Jack merch? No Jack merch.
50, 40.
Thank you
30,
very much,
20,
Andy, for the
10.
£5. Very kind of you. Oh no, Lizzie Windsor.
Miss Windsor, you're lucky we don't still remove heads.
Thanks, Your Majesty. Thank you very much for the £3 donation again. It's a good job you don't remove heads.
50, 40.
Oh, guys,
30,
really, thank you.
20, 10.
Is that Scottish? Skittish? Not sure. Thanks for the £2, buddy. Very kind of you.
Enjoying your streams. Keep it up, mate.
Thank you very much. My
50,
goodness, guys.
40,
Very generous.
30,
Thank you, Scottish.
20,
very kind of you. Thank
10.
you, Andy. I mean, this is what I read first. A couple more came in. My goodness, thank you.
On the subject of merch, Why did you discontinue the check close hold, monk? Don't you know how important those 3 words are during landing?
Thank you very much for the 5,
50,
Andy. So
40,
it was just because it was
30, 20.
basically how Teespring
10.
works. They have these things on loops and stuff, and I hadn't sold any for 6 months, so I just had a big tidy up and got rid of it. But if
Who's
you
a
want it
good
again,
boy?
I'll add it.
Jack's a good boy. Yes, you are. Good boy. N2.
N2, have you just created some sort of account? Jack Cam Aficionado? Thank you very much for the £5. Very kind of you, buddy. Thank you for the continued support as a member. What a good boy, Jack's a good boy. Yeah, you are a good boy. Thank you very much. Jesus Christ, that was crazy. Thanks, N2, Scottish Andy, Lizzie Windsor, Andy, Steve Burtfellow, all the last 10 minutes. Unbelievable. Absolutely crazy, guys. Thank you very much for your generosity. Can't say that enough. Thank you. Cool. So let's actually concentrate on where we are for a second. Look at that. We're directly over Divco. So geographically, there we are. We've just flown over Marseille. We're over the Mediterranean now. We'll be flying just east of Barcelona. Just keep an eye out on traffic-wise here. If there's no ATC in Alicante, we might head offline because I am going to be demonstrating a missed approach and I want to fly a different approach, which is a little bit non-standard and a bit offset, so it might not work well with traffic on Unicom. We'll have a close look at that. But let's do our fuel check at Divco. Get rid of the Geneva charts. Where is Divco?
50, 40, 30.
Thank you
20,
very much,
10.
Phil Messenger, for the €5. Very kind of you, buddy. Thank you.
Hi Captain, Happy New Year. Glad to be back, missed your streams. About last one, any idea about the differences between the CL 650 and its brother 605?
Philip, thank you very much for €5. It's so funny the way it pronounces sentences some ways. Just missed your streams. You're asking the wrong person, Philip. I'm not really a Bombardier expert, and I could not tell you. I'm sure someone here in chat will be able to help you, tell you what the difference is between the two. But I'd be guessing at this stage there. Is the 650 slightly newer and longer? I'm not so sure, but the 650, that add-on is amazing with regards to what the differences are between the 605. I just don't know. But thank you very much, buddy. Hope you had a good New Year. Thank you very much for your generosity. Cool. So we did pass Divco about a couple of minutes ago. We should have been there after 26 minutes. It's taken us 32, obviously 34 now. The reason is because we levelled off at 9-0 for a short while and followed the entire SID. We might have burned a little bit more fuel based on that. So 5 tons. We actually have we should have 5 tons. We actually have 6.6. So yeah, we took 2 tons extra. We've got 1.6 extras. We've burned quite a bit extra being at 9-0 for such a short while. We should have burnt 2 tons. Again, we have passed the waypoint. We've actually burnt about 2.3, 2.4. So
40,
yeah, a little bit extra fuel
30,
burnt just because we'll level
20,
at 9-0
10.
for a short while. Thank you very much, Lance Whipple, for the £5 donation. That's very kind of you, sir. No comment associated with the donation, but appreciate it nonetheless. Hope you're doing well, and I hope I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Thank you very much indeed. Lorenzo, which situation does the align mode of the IRS need to be selected? Because usually to align them, you just switch them onto nav. Yeah, in normal operation, no need to use nav for a quick alignment. So if the IRS is already aligned, and let's say the IRS has a position disagree on the turnaround down route, we can switch it to align briefly, put in the coordinates for our exact position, then we switch it back to nav. That's the only time in normal operation we ever use align. Brandon, what program do you use to download Ortho? I thought it was only one. Ortho, whatever the latest version is it 1.3? Ortho 4XP, the latest one. That's what I use. That's what I'm getting METAR for lots of different airports. METAR, many airports. Simple takeoffs, Captain. What is the correct time to arm approach mode? So in the 737, you can arm approach when you've been cleared ILS, and you're sort of within at least 15 miles, within 1 dot on the glide slope and correct sensing on the localizer. If you're not within 1 dot on the glide slope, arm localizer first, then within 1 dot you can arm approach. The reason is if you're grossly high or low, you can actually capture the false glide slope, which is very, very dangerous. Very difficult to do, but it can be done. Deadleg Media ordered my Boeing pack this weekend and should be here this week. Excellent news, Deadleg Media. I'm a big fan of the Yoke, really I am. And I've been looking forward to streaming it. It was just getting the lighting right, the camera right, as well, getting it in the right position. Took some time and planning as well. But I've had this sort of in the back of my mind to get done as soon as possible. And yeah, I think it looks like it will be staying. So many people have already said that today, which is really cool. External view for a bit, jump outside. There we are, over the Med. Not much to see, unfortunately. Excellent. Hello, Schmiegel. Good evening. Great content. Thank you very much,
40,
Schmiegel.
30,
All the rings.
20, 10.
I want to be captain. Thank you very much for the £2.72 donation. Very kind, sir.
Greetings from Singapore. I am an absolute fan of your channel and I'm loving your Yoke cam.
Oh, thank you very much, want to be captain, for the £2.72. Too good. But no, very early morning for you, I should think, in Singapore. So I hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoy the rest of your very late evening or early morning. Want to be captain. Thank you for your generosity. That's very kind of you. And yeah, Yoke cam will be staying then. Thank you very much indeed. Matthew, what's more alarming is if someone doesn't realise they're on a false glide slope, really makes you question some fit guys' thinking skills if they don't realise something is wrong given the descent rate. Yeah, and also the fact that they're twice as high as they should be. It's quite alarming. I mean, it's easy to sit down here, Matthew, and say, oh, that's easy to do, but you can get yourself into those situations online if, let's say, your task saturated, the Swiss cheese holes are lining up. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to there. JHL, how would you cope with the loss of airspeed information? We have memory items for airspeed unreliable. You disconnect the automation, turn the flight directors off. If it's to happen right now, the cruise here, 4 degrees, 75%. We'll set that altitude and thrust setting until we find a pitch and power setting we can work on, or we've found out which source of airspeed unreliable's information. Remember, you have 3 sources. You've got captains, first officers and standby, so the chances of having all 3 unreliable is extremely remote, unless you went through some sort of severe icing incident. So yeah, we have memory items to deal with that. Reese Iver Music, what is the false glide slope? So as you well know, a glide slope will propagate out a signal at the correct glide path, so 3 degrees. And you then have these sort of other lobes. You have the 90 Hz and the 150 Hz lobes, and you'll get 3 degrees of normal glide path, 6 degrees you'll get no signal, and I think it's 9, the highest one, you'll get the correct glide path information, so you actually need to be 3 times as high as you should be, and you can actually pick up sort of this glide slope information that shows you high or low, but it's not, it's a false glide slope. It's just the fact with the glide slope signal propagates out. We have some ATC. I've actually pulled out my radio tuning panel so I can reach it, otherwise I'd have to lean forward and you'd see my chin.
Good evening, Centre Top Swiss 14 November Charlie, flight level 350, overhead Pivot.
Top Swiss 14 November Charlie, Barcelona, identifying Turbo 3 November arrival, recycle squawk 6203.
Squawk 6203 and go over 2 November arrival, Top Swiss 14 November Charlie.
Go over 2 November, that's not what I'm expecting.
Well, Juliet Papa, proceed direct Turbo.
Oh, it is the go over 2 November, I'm actually expecting.
Alpaca 1 Juliet Papa, proceed direct Turbo.
Direct Turbo, Alpaca 1 Juliet Papa.
Turkish 4 Alpha Kilo.
I'll try and check in when I can.
Range 1017.
Sending 6000 range 1017 Turkish 4 Alpha Kilo.
Barcelona, Buenos Aires, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, maintaining flight level 370 to Sulid.
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, Barcelona, squawk 4414.
Squawk 4414, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. So 4414. And on the TCA yoke, I'm using pretty much the same push to talk button as the real aircraft. It's on the back. Well, I'll show you. So on the left here is a button on the back of the yoke which I'm pushing, and it's exactly the same button we'd be using in the real aircraft. Now on the first officer's control column it's actually located on the right side, but you have two push to talk buttons. The captains will have it on the left, the FOs have it on the right, but with the TCA yoke you actually have two switches, so you can assign it there. I have this assigned to braking at the moment because I don't like the brakes on the Cytec rudder pedals. There's no feel to them, so I don't use them.
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, Barcelona, identified Gerbo 2 November arrival, report your Mach number.
Gervo 2 November, and currently maintaining Mach decimal 77, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie.
Thank you, 10 Yankee Charlie, Mach 77 or greater for you.
77 or greater, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. So,
Top 614 November
just do
Charlie, Mach
78.
decimal 76 or less.
Mach
Now
decimal
keep
76
ATC
or less, top
happy,
switch 14 Papa Charlie.
and the Gervo 2 November, which is actually
Turkish
what
4
I was
Alpha
expecting.
Kilo
I
from
think.
BB 1 Echo Transition.
I put 2 Romeo for some reason.
BB Monaco over the input Turkish 4 Alpha Kilo.
Barcelona control, very good evening, airport 326 inbound, Mapox, level
Yeah, Gervo
400.
2 November's in.
Airport 326, Barcelona, identified, procedure at Godox 3 Papa arrival.
There we are. Hello,
Direct
Colossalco. Finally caught you on stream. Thanks for your videos. So relaxing. Thank you.
Airport 326, direct Godox 3 Papa
Brandon,
arrival.
how much of a difference between captain and FO's indicated airspeed would warrant an RTO when cross-checking 80 knots on takeoff roll on the 737? So, when you're accelerating down the runway, you don't have time to kind of compare the difference. You would get an IS disagree if there was a difference of 5 knots more than 5 seconds. So that, I'd say, yeah, more than 5 knots would be an issue. But the cool out at 80 knots during the takeoff roll, it does sort of serve as that purpose, as an airspeed check, but it also serves as 2 other purposes. It's a kind of like a incapacitation check to make sure the other guy's not dead, and also to divide the bits between a high speed and low speed RTO. So below 80 knots we can pretty much reject for anything, but above 80 knots as a high speed reject we can only reject for some very specific reasons. So engine fire and engine failure, if we've got a predictive wind shear warning, or in the eyes of the commander the aircraft is unsafe to fly. So he'd think if we were to, it'd be more dangerous to actually get airborne than it would be to stop on the runway, which in most cases it would be. A high-speed RTO is a lot of energy involved. You have to brake very hard, especially approaching V1. You never know, you go off the end of the runway. So it's far safer, even with engine failure at V1. It's far safer to take that issue into the air than trying to stop. There's been a lot of aviation accidents due to hesitancy at V1, where where there's been an engine failure, an issue at V1, and they've decided to reject after V1, and it's not ended well. I mean, the only time you'd reject above V1 is both engines have failed, but you haven't got time to make that decision. The chances again are extremely remote. But you haven't got much choice, you're not taking off if both engines fail anyway. Yaroslav is 80 knots, also a call out for neutral position. Yes, it coincides at 80 knots as well. 170 miles to go, so no need to set up just yet. So nice to be back in the ZIBO mods. Another reason the ZIBO mods, talking about flight model issues earlier, you guys want to replicate what we're doing right now in any of the level D aircraft. So if we, here look, we're at 37,000 feet. If you go to 37,000 feet, gross weight 64 tons. This is the correct thrust setting, about 80-85%. If you're in the level up at the moment, you're at max continuous thrust pretty much. It's too much drag. This is spot on. This thrust setting here is exactly what I'd expect to maintain the speed. A little bit of meat, a little bit of thrust left. in the level up, you're pretty much at full power. XCLP now components checks at 80 for Airbus. It's 100. Don't know. Eddie, does the 7.3 have an actual toga button like I saw in the 777? I mean, yes, it's on top of the thrust levers. Regrettably, not modelled on the TCA Boeing Yoke, but it's got so many buttons on it. I just easily use a different button. It's for me, it's no issue at all. Alicante. I've flown into this airport a few times. Gave you to November. Many Gervus will be flying up on us at the north end. So, landing on 28 is a bit unusual in Alicante. Usually the wind's coming in from the east. It's coming in from the west today, and there's no ILS on this runway. They're all VOR approaches. The one they fly every day is VOR Zulu. VOR Zulu is a straight-in approach, no problems at all. Final approach track matches the runway QDM. You disconnect. Minimum's 5:30. However, if this VOR's inoperative, Alpha Tango Echo, you can't fly that VOR approach. So they actually have a second VOR here in Alicante, the Altet VOR, and that's what VOR X-ray is based off. And it's exactly the same, except look at this, it's a huge offset now because they're flying, instead of flying directly to this VOR, we're now flying directly to this one. And it's a 20-degree offset, and you then disconnect on the extended descent line and turn. Because of the offset, look, the actual minimums for Cat C are the same as the circling minimums, 1240, 1240. So it's very high, you disconnect. So that's the approach we're going to fly today. I'm going to hand fly this, and I'm also going to fly the missed approach as well. So I want to demonstrate to you guys watching what it's like to go around. The ZIBO mod is very close to real aircraft with regards to missed approach. The correct indications on the PFD, the flight directors, what the speed bug does, it's really quite impressive for a desktop sim. So we'll brief all that, and we'll fly the full missed approach towards Macau, and then we'll reshoot another approach to land. If there's no ATC, I'll probably log off. If there is, we'll ask if they mind us practicing a missed approach, and we'll keep the ATC. If not, I'll probably head offline. No, Mr. Plane, I can't do it, Crash. Matthew 80 knots is also a dividing line between a low speed and a high speed abort for us. Yeah, I think it's most airlines to be, Matthew. Thank you, Andre Bjorn, for the 13 months as a member. Finally back from the dodgy peanut butter store after my dog saw Jack's peanut butter and demanded some for herself. Amazing, Andre. I'm sure this company will be very happy I showcased their peanut butter on stream. Amazing. Don't give dogs regular peanut butter, too much salt in them. Make sure you get doggy-friendly peanut butter. The company actually claimed that you can eat this yourself as humans. I've actually tried it a little bit, and it tastes really strange because it doesn't have any salt in it. It tastes like it needs it. It's, I haven't put it on my toast, you know. I've just tried it a little bit. It's actually like direct to Gervu, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. Gotta be a bit careful with this push to talk button, sometimes it holds it down. Direct to Gervu, executes. That's a huge shortcut for us. That's great. Benny, 5 months as a member, thank you very much, buddy. How do you like the new PC? Amazing. I've had it now for, it was a month ago yesterday, I picked it up, and it's brilliant. It's caused me no problems, just plugged it in, 3080, the processor, just, what am I getting right now? Streaming, everything on max pretty much, enhanced skyscape, ZIBO mod, 65, 70 FPS. Yeah, very happy with it. So many people went to me, oh, flight deck to sim, you don't have a mesh front, you're going to have heating issues, it's going to overheat. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. My old PC had 2 fans in it, one at the back to vent air out, and one for the power supply. This has 6, and a radiator and a CPU cooler. and it has no heating issues whatsoever. So basically it's got a solid front, but it has vents on the side around the top. It's the NXZT case, NZXT, I might have said that wrong, a 710. And it performs flawlessly. I've done all like the 3D Mark stress tests, and the CPU and GPU never overheated once. Sal, have you ever flown a 737 from departure to arrive all manually? I have completed a full flight manually flown, yes. Well, because the autopilot didn't work. It was actually repositioning an aircraft. Eddie, is it too much to ask what the final price tag was on the new PC? No, not at all. You got all the specs below. I went to Chill Blast, and that was 2,700. And Benny, is it liquid cooled? No, so it's not got full liquid cooling, just a usual CPU cooler, which I think most PCs have of these there, but it's not full liquid cooled. The CPU is, what's it called, guys? The CPU cooling? Not sure, it's a Corsair CPU cooling.
1.7 forward, less top Swiss 14 November Charlie.
Barcelona Center Pro 226.
Sounds amazing, yeah. Enhanced Skyscapes, it's an excellent cloud product. They look really realistic. The only thing is when it's foggy at low altitudes.
I don't know, but my radio wasn't working. I tried something and now it's working, and I started descending.
It's definitely working.
Sorry about that. Apollo 226.
So yeah. Yeah, an AIO cooler. Thanks, guys in the know. Yeah, very pleased with it. So it has sort of vents at the side there, and it's got two huge fans on the front of it. It basically, I read a bunch of reviews. There's a, is it Nexus Gaming? He's like the main PC case reviewer. He reviewed it and said, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Hello Rossi, since you flew the Hot Start Challenger 650 recently, I have a suggestion for a place to fly from, and that is an airport. It's Stockholm Bromma. It's pretty small, but it's a very interesting airport. Happen to be from there, Rosny. No, we've not been to Bromma, been to Arlanda, and I think we took off from Scoutster once, but I haven't done any other airports. I'll think about that.
Alpaca 964 Barcelona, recycle squawk 4410.
Hal Wilson Bet just had a V-22 Osprey flyover. First time seeing one in the flesh. What an aircraft. My favourite US military aircraft from the air show, and I never forget these aircraft, is the Boeing, guys. The what is it? The Lancer, the B-1B Lancer. It is one of my. I nearly called it a B-22. I don't know why. Just. I remember going to Fairford as a kid. I was about 13, 14 years old. And there were loads of aircraft there, amazing aircraft, but there was nothing that was like the B-1B Lancer. It lined up, 4 afterburners on, full power, my whole body was shaking, my eyes were moving in my eyeballs, and this thing took off, and it still sends shivers down my spine, and I was about 12 years old, I'll never forget it. It took off, he pitched up like vertically to me, and then he was doing his display, and then he shot past just below the speed of sound, and the noise of this thing, it was just absolutely ferocious. I'll never. So it's my favourite. B-1B is one of my favourite military aircraft. It's just insane. And they're in the UK. They have B-1Bs, I think, based in Fairford. No, in Marham, RF Marham in Norfolk. But yeah, what an aeroplane. And it's still in use, I believe. Amazing. Oh look, because of that massive shortcut. Actually only 80 miles from the top of the centre here, so let's start chatting about the top of the centre. The approach, sorry, not top of the centre. We'll have a chat about that. So let's get the FMC loaded. So 250 below 100, winds are in.
Sorry, Alpaca 1 Juliet Papa, descend flight level 280.
Let's get the forecast winds in. Like I said, we'll initiate the descent with the automation, but as we sort of get towards the approach, we'll hand fly it.
Airport 20326, descend flight level 130.
Flight level 130, airport 226.
Alpaca 320, speed 250 knots, descend 6000 feet, unit 1016.
200, 343 at 43. 100 is 356 at 70.
Coordinate 7283, number 1, from Bensor, clear as parachute area
QNH, so sounds like this controller will be dealing with the approaches into Alicante as well, because it covers his sector. QNH is 1016. Wind's died down a little bit, it's clear skies, cav okay, which is great, 18 degrees. And reset 1016 here as well. So because it's a missed approach here, you'll sometimes see with certain missed approaches, the runway's not actually coded in the legs here, it's actually a missed approach point, so you actually have to go to the fixed page and manually type the runway in. You should work it out because it's on the departure arrival, so runway 28, 10 miles, 4 miles, actually 5 miles, we configure a bit earlier today because of the missed approach point. And we're at 37,000 feet, so that's roughly where top of descent is. So, the arrival we're flying, we're cleared on the Gervo 2 November, so it's simply from Gervo 230 to 100, which is in the FMS, all the way to Besor, which is the initial approach fix at Besor. I want to actually bring the speed back to 220 knots or below, which is a standard Spanish requirement for most initial approach fixes. So, from Besor, it's just a simple straight line on the arrival. From Besor, it's on to the 18-mile arc, until we intercept the 072 radial. MSA, high terrain, 6,900, 5,900, all to the north. From Besor. I'm going to fly a little arc here, so I don't think the arc's sort of like a straight line to me, but it should be a 80-mile arc. But yeah, to be fair, it's such a short stint on the arc. This does look like a straight line on the chart, to be fair. We go down to 3,000 feet checks onto the extended sense line, and remember that's a massive offset for us. Fine approach track is 21 degrees offset from the runway centre line, so the runway QDM. Find the airport chart here for you guys. The runway QDM is 280 degrees, but look at the approach track, 259. So there's your 21 degrees. 259. 259. It's all based off the Alicante VOR, just 13.8. We're going to have to request this from ATC because it is the non-standard arrival for this runway. Usually it's the Zulu straight in. I'm going to fly the X-ray. I've actually flown this approach in real life. I requested it years ago. Elevation we know about. 2,200 platform, and the minimum circling minnow we have to use, so straight in 1240, same as circling. We'll actually add 40 feet to this, so 1280. The reason we add the 40 feet is so we don't actually go below the minimums, or the MDA if we have to go around. Because when you go around with the inertia of the aircraft, it can keep descending for a short while. So 1280. RVR requirements, this is quite high, look, 4,100 metres. So that's all good. So around the arc we'll go 2,200. The final approach fix is at 8 DME for the VOR. So remember the VOR is past the airport. We'll actually be quite close to the runway at the final approach fix. How many miles from touchdown? 6.6 miles. So even though it says 8 miles, it'll only be 6.6 miles from touchdown. So I'm going to configure as soon as you pass the final approach fix. It's a little bit steeper. Alicante on runway 28, you always have the impression you feel quite high because the pappies and the approach is a little bit steeper and it makes you look like you're sort of high, but it's the normal picture. We'll go down to our minimums, but we are going to fly the missed approach today just to demonstrate sort of the handling I'm doing on the everything and go from there. So the missed approach point is here at 2.7. If we're visual, we'd make a right turn and then land straight in. If we are not visual, we have to go around. We just go around at the missed approach, climb straight ahead towards the Alicante VOR. So climb direct to the VOR, left turn, max 220 knots. Until we're heading 096. And on that heading, we'll intercept the 125 radial from Alicante, and we're going to head to Magao. Obviously this is not to scale, but that here is a straight line to Magao, which would be there. Climbing to 4,000. So that's the missed approach. This is what we're going to fly today. So that's what to bear in mind. Clouds are very high. Yeah, hockey for life. It's a hard skyscape thing.
Thank you, 119 decimal 4, Apollo 226, bye bye.
Clouds are always so high Always so high ever since I switched to this. So I'm going to be flying this manually without flight directors. I'll be very much reliant on these. These are altitude distance cross checks. So making sure my height at each distance check, so at 7 miles 1930, 6 miles 1600, you've got the idea, and that will give me an idea if I'm high or low. So I won't have the automation on all flight director guidance. And if I go around, I'll talk about the go around actions now. It'll be toga, which I have assigned to a button on my quadrant. Go around flat 15, set go around thrust. Pause ready to climb. We'll raise the landing gear 400 feet. We'll turn the flight director back on because we'll have the toga and just select LNAV just for that turn. If you have the flight directors off in the 737, if you push toga, you get the flight directors on automatically. There's nothing you can do. And if you leave the flight directors off, they'll disappear out of choir on the FMA when you reach your missed approach altitude. But we'll continue left turn 096. We can clean up. 220 knots is the maximum speed. For up speed on a go around is 222, so that's fine. It's only 2 knots over. And then we'll go outbound. Vacate Alpha 2, flat 30 auto brake 2, and we'll select reverse thrust, and that will be sufficient for us to taxi or to stand. Loaded in forward stages because approaching top descent, not the cavalier attitude I take in real life. Captain Mia, thank you very much for joining as a member. Glad you enjoyed the content. You get invited to our members only Discord. Hope you enjoy using the custom emoji chat. Thank you very much for your support. Actually, what a spicy approach. Yeah, it is a bit of a spicy one. The B1B's predecessor was the B58 Hustler. I mean, that's old, isn't it? 2 tons. But the B1B, was that meant to replace the B52 as well? I don't know. I used to be very into my military aircraft. Because the B1B, it changed its role, didn't it? Because then it was meant to be a high-speed nuclear bomber. Then they started doing low-speed radar tracking at 500 feet, didn't they? And stuff like that. James, you worked the B1 last year, you spanned over the Atlantic to display at Fairford. We then got notification it was coming back over the Atlantic to return to the States. Oh. Andrew, BAE-146 due soon for Microsoft Flight Simulator, can't wait, excellent. Another aircraft I'm happy to preview, which I can actually say, Aerosoft got in contact. I've not worked with Aerosoft directly, but they've actually sent me their Twin Otter, which comes out, I think, on the 18th. So the plan is Wednesday, I'm going to stream the Twin Otter. I'm not flying much at the moment, guys, so I'm able to do a lot more streams at the moment. We're going to try the Twin Otter in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's been a while since we've streamed this sim. So yeah, I'm planning on doing a sector on that sim, and then I'll do another sector as a group flight, so you guys can join me. And thinking of going to Hawaii. GHL, how's Chillbass performing? I'm leaning towards the same spec as yours from them. Oh, GHL, this one's beautiful. No issues with performance. You don't need an i9, you don't need X Corvus and whatnot. I'm no expert. I was very thankful to have some great input from members, Petrich and some others who know a lot more about PC, and they told me this is what you need, this is overkill, you might need a bit more than this, and they helped me build this thing. Hi Kevin Thomas, may I ask you your opinion on New Level Up and how it compares to ZIBO? Which one would you say is more realistic? I apologise if you answered before. You don't need to ever apologise, Kevin. It has been asked, as you can imagine. We'll just get descent here. Just get my VATS line up so I know my push to talk button's not stuck. So level up, first thing, we were discussing it earlier, Kevin, the thrust M1 in mod's perfect and the level up too high, too much drag at the moment. Even with the experimental flight model on, I've tried it. Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, request descent.
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, descent flight level 210, conversion speed 280 knots.
Descent flight level 210 on conversion speed 280 knots. Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. So, down we go, VNAV's engaged, so we just need to tell it to do 280 on conversion, so we'll slightly adjust the profile. Only by about 500 feet, so I'm going to use a little bit of speed brake on my quadrant. Ooh, look, actually, it's a good opportunity for yoke cam. So, there we are.
Speed 250
I'll extend the speed brake. Very effective at this height. Oh, well, not as effective at this height, but you'll quickly get high rates of descent if you pull the speed brake out quickly. And as the profile comes back in, we're already still in VNAV path, so that's fine. I can smoothly stow the speed brake. Don't ever move the speed brake quickly. The aircraft will be very slow to react in automation if you do that. Top of the sensor chat, excellent. Twin Otter, you should go from Juliana to Saba. So you're right, you suppose I'd better go to the Caribbean, really, shouldn't I, and do Saba and Caribbean hops. I'll probably poll it. I'll poll it. I'll either vote Hawaii or Caribbean Islands. I should think the Caribbean will win. Thing is, I've not been to Hawaii before. This is a jumper reveal, I know, very stripy today. 2 tons. B-1B was low supersonic nuclear bomber to evade radar. B-58 was a high altitude supersonic bomber to evade SAM's precision munition development, as well as the B-2 change to B-1B roll. Amazing. Ooh, Luca. Oh, we've never been to Luca either. Ooh. I think a poll is in order, isn't it? I'll poll it. Hawaii. No, I'm gonna be no longer a democracy. I want to do Luca. I want to do Luca in the Twin Otter. Perfect aircraft. What's the largest city near it? Actually, what's the airline that takes the Twin Otter from there to Luca? They fly into a nearby city. Yeah, I think Luca will be popular. I bet it would probably win anyway. Chuck Reed, do you watch it here? Came across the recent pod, enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Chuck, and welcome to the stream. Dennis, hi Captain. In reality, would the air bridge make a bell, ding, sound, alarm when retracting? No, very few do. There's no alarm or noise. Yeah, I think Luca, we're going to Luca. Excellent. I'll get that published tonight. Chris, I have a higher than 50% success rate. Elevated higher. Last time I flew Twin Otter was the one in X-Plane 11, and I struggled to land that in Glasgow. Like, it's an aircraft that's very unforgiving because it's got so much drag with the flaps out. So I'm going to struggle getting it to Luca. It could be my... well, no, I have crashed once in a stream. Seneca I once crashed, but that wasn't my fault technically. I was doing a low fly past and an external view. It was a bit of a fun laid back stream, that one. Captain Outs and Hard Skyscapes, what I think. Yeah, I'm overall a fan of them. I think they're noisy. No, I think they look good. Just in fog, low visibility, they need to improve how it looks. It doesn't look great, but for general flying like this, it looks amazing. Speed 260 knots, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. So if we go down here to VNAV, we'll put in 260, or the FMS, this will put us high. This will be a shallower profile, executes. There we are, 1,000 feet high. So I'm not gonna get yoke cam out every time I change speed. So he wants us to do 260. So I'm just now going to extend the speed brake smoothly to the flight D10 position, and then we'll keep that out until we're back on profile. Kathmandu, that was it. Kathmandu, I tell you what, Kathmandu Luca group flights, because there'd be no point having ATC, there's no intra flight. Yeah, I'll just do 2 group flights. I'll do Kathmandu to Luca group flight. Or maybe the first one I'll do offline, because I quite like to do... Usually when I showcase an aircraft, I like to do 2 sectors in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I might do like a realistic one, do the full checklist, and then when we we could then do Luca back to Kathmandu, but I could do a sort of like an orbit, and we could all try and land there sort of thing. What I'll do, yeah, because I like to showcase the aircraft, full checklist on the first one, with no distractions, and then on the second one you can all join it.
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, descend flight level 150.
Descend flight level 150, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie.
Alpaca 5 Tango Bravo, Barcelona identified. Turbo 2 Micah,
Set 50 checked. ATC, yeah, thanks guys. Back on profile, smoothly stow the speed brake. Re-engage V now.
Thank you, Lee Jerver, to November arrival.
There we are, clouds have disappeared. Well, it is actually Cav OK in Alicante, so that's realistic. And look how beautifully, another thing in the level D, it needs drag model, we've got all the speeds, 260 knots. This is an idle path descent. Look, thrust levers are completely closed. Look how well it holds the speed. Slight increment there, but the real aircraft does this. Can differ as well. You just don't get that in the level. Like, you just get the speed falling back, thrust FMC speed multiple times. This is absolute precision and perfection here in the mod.
Alpaca 7 Bravo Mike, descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1016. Descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1016.
A big aircraft at Kathmandu. Yes, I try and encourage anyone who joins in on a group flight to take a realistic aircraft. I know some of you like to fly past in a 4-engined jet, upside down, inverted. To be fair, group flights are chilled out. I don't mind so much. But the first one I'll do offline.
Alpaca 4 Echo Delta, colliding some solar. Positive procedure. You can be aware of the approach. Can we do it?
So approaching Gevu, we're in between 230 and 100, so we've met the restriction requirements. And now we're going to be routing direct to Bessor. Thanks for subscribing, Chuck Reed as well. Popped in from the VOD you watched, now you subscribed, amazing. Yeah, I'll look into that. I need to get some charts for Luca. I mean, there won't be any instrument approaches into that airport, but there will be some sort of guidance chart or something, like some landmark to follow. Might not be able to go live weather as well, because usually it's a little bit inclement. Can we do Gatwick Challenge with Yoke Cam? Unbelievable. See.
Continue approach runway 28, Alpaca well, Juliet Papa.
Phasium, Boga Challenge. Descend flight level 80. Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. It's not even Boga about it. We're going to be flying a missed approach at the missed approach point today. Just a demonstration.
Top Swiss 14 Papa Charlie.
So I think with ATC, I'm just trying to think. I don't want to overwork the guy because I am going to be going around as a demonstration. So when I get on final, well, I'm going to firstly request a VR X-ray approach, which is the non-standard approach, and then I'll request a missed approach as well. Because this guy's obviously, he's catering, this isn't an approach controller, a tower controller, he's catering the whole of northern Spain, this controller, so I don't want to unnecessarily create any excessive workload for him.
And Alpaca 7 Bravo Mike, same for you, speed 250 knots. 250 knots, Alpaca 7 Bravo Mike.
Hello Tandro, where did you take off from and where are you landing? So if you look here on the top of the screen, I have this on most streams, a little overlay, and you'll have the departure airport and our arrival airport, the ICAO codes. Lima Sierra Golf Golf is Geneva, and Lima Echo Alpha Lima is Alicante. Geneva to Spain. There's Benidorm, ladies and gentlemen. That's Benidorm there. Beautiful approach into Alicante, especially when you're coming in from the east along the coastline. This is Orbex True Earth South, Mass Effect Orbex as well. They do send me their products to try out. I mean, their Orbex True Earth series. This may be for everyone, but if you're local to the area and do a lot of VFR flying, it's really cool. I have it all stored on my external drive and load it in.
Alpaca 43 Papa, speed 230 knots. Speed 230 knots, Alpaca 43 Papa. And 43 Papa, descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1016.
The passenger's definitely on board.
Descend 6,000 feet,
There's a
QNH
view for Jim.
1016, Alpaca 43 Papa.
So usually when you're flying into Alicante, it can be quite turbulent over Bessor. That looks amazing. I've got the sim looking sweet at the moment.
Alpaca 964, descend flight level 210.
Beautiful.
50, 40,
Alpaca 128 Papa,
30,
descend between 930.
Thanks a lot.
10,
It was a little mistake. LEAL, Leco. Unbelievable, Noah.
Lecho.
You tried to say.
Alpaca 17 up for welcome Alicante, taxi.
Even trying to say it in Spanish. Thank you very much, Noah, for your $5 for the continued support. Appreciate it, buddy. Lecho. That's what I'm going to start calling Alicante now. Amazing. Thanks a lot, buddy. Look at VNav.
Alpaca 7 Bravo Mike.
VNav idle path, that thrust lever completely closed. Look at it holding speed. The ZIBO is the goat. That's why I still fly it. And I don't want to discredit the level up. It's a great add-on. Giving you the chance to fly the variants now. I just need to fine-tune the flight model. The ZIBO flight model has been tuned, tested to oblivion, and is still being tweaked to this day. This is why it's just with the yoke, everything. Honestly, it's like I've said this so many times. Speed 220 knots, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. I've said it so many times, but with ATC like this, flying arrivals that I fly in real life with the yoke here, it is difficult to differentiate between real life and the sim. Sometimes they're so good. Of course, there's differences, but the immersion right now, you know, it's incredible. It's just so incredible what you can get with these desktop sims. Every time I've been, the channel's 5 years old, I've been streaming for 3 years, and every time I'm in an aircraft like the mods and flying around like this, it's just like I'm at work. Can't tell the difference. So a little bit, so on level change 220 here, just to comply with the speed restriction, and got the speed brake out again, just so I don't get too off the profile. Matlow, when would you usually use the wing lights? At night, when expecting for icing on the wing.
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1016 from base or within a speed 220 knots, clear as correction KBOR 0 below, runway 28.
Send 6,000 feet, QNH 1016 cleared, VRR approach runway 28, and if it's not too a problem, can I actually request VR X-ray, and I'd like to actually practice a missed approach, is that okay?
No problem, VRR X-ray from base or, and yep, no problem, the missed approach, KBOR X-ray runway 28.
Cleared VR X-ray, thank you so much, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. There we are. So he's accommodated that. Back on profile, smoothly stow the speed brake, back to VNav, and we can do the post-cruise checks. So fuel 4 pumps, lights, and logo is off, angle of bank, oops, 25 degrees the whole flight, AYOPS. And standby instruments, I said courses, no, what we're doing, we're doing all my checks, my blood pressurisation, seatbelts on, recall. There we are. Post-cruise checks complete. Scottish, how do you get so good at readbacks? Well, I've been reading back ATC instructions in this very aircraft for real for 10 years. And that sim ATC is also, the guys are doing it as realistic as possible.
Alpaca 964, descend flight level 130.
Well, nothing for it. Would you like me to hand fly? Oh, hold on. Speed 200 knots, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. So, let's just get my webcam ready. Might as well go to the speed. He wants 200, that's okay. Just want to keep the distance there. Let me just get some things done, just make sure we're done here. So I'm actually going to do a landing checklist flow now, because it's going to be so high workload. That's fine, because I'm going to be absolutely all over the place. We've been cleared approach, so initially descending to 3,000. which is the height for the arc. Otherwise I'm going to be all over the place there. Right, shall we do it? Disconnecting. Right, just make sure I've got Yoke cam ready and I've got the charts up as well. Because once I'm hand flying, that's it. I'm going to be maxed out. Right, here we go. Yoke cam coming on. Cool. Disconnecting autopilots. Disconnecting water throttle. Round the arc we go. Did we just change the scale here? Just going to get established on the arc and then I'll get rid of the automation as well. There we go. Going a bit fast here. I'm going to go flap 1. We'll get rid of the fly directors in a second. I just want to get established here. Because he wants 200 knots and that aircraft's quite close ahead. So there's that balloon from flap 1. I actually have to pitch nose down initially. And then we're going to go flap 5. And there's the flat 5 speeds. And see how that's so realistic. See how the aircraft's ballooned up? And I'm having to trim those down. Oh, now, of course, now the ZIBO's done something funny. Look, it's actually got rid of the magenta line. I'm actually going to get rid of the flight directors. I'm not very happy with how that's being flown. So flight directors are gone. And then I've got that there. Right, so I'm sort of having to fly this arc manually. What's the DME range? 18 miles, so I actually need to go wings level here for a second. So just going to bring the speed right back as well. So I'm sort of going to fly on this heading here, because it needs to be on an 18-mile arc. ZIBO's sort of thrown a little bit of a wobbly there with the with LNAV. So if you hold the attitude on the horizon, with flat 5 you'll descend at about 1200 feet per minute. It's a really nice attitude just to keep everything steady. It's in trim here, about 200 knots. Reduce speed 180 knots, back at 10 Yankee Charlie, so I'll just bug 180. So there's 18 miles, and we're waiting, not now Jack, waiting for the 072 radial, which we've just hit, looking at the RMI, so I'm now going to turn final. And height checks, 7 miles, that's fine, so it's still descending to the FAF. There we are. Chat, guys, I won't be able to read anything, guys, I'm sorry. So I'm going to get a bit low here. So not below 3,000 feet. Remember, we're flying a 20-degree offset on this approach, so we're not going to be lined up with the runway at all. Without having that turn, I can just about see the runway in the distance. I think you might struggle with the pixelation. So there's 180. We're established on the final approach track. I'll just set the runway, the final approach track QDM here, which is 259. And we can go down to 2,200 feet now, which is the final approach track. I'll just get the chart up, just to remind you. There we are, so we're established now. We can go down to 2,200 feet, which is the FAF height at 8 miles. So I'm primarily using the RMI. We want to have the head of that needle on the final approach track of 259, so I'm pushing the head round now. Obviously I've got the ND displaying on that. And I'm taking a speed of 180 knots, the aircraft's descending very nicely here. I want to aim to be at 2,200 at the FAF, so catching back onto our profile shortly. Looking good. So there we are, nicely established on the final approach track. There's the airport, and look, we're not lined up with the runway. That's the 20-degree offset we're talking about. We can now start descending, so I'm now going to start reducing that thrust, because I'm sort of using, I still have VNAV guidance, which is very helpful. And we want to be at about 2,200 feet at the Foxtrot Delta point there, so we're just going to start descending. And then we need to start doing our height checks. I actually zoom in on my chart here, which is very useful. So 7 miles I need to be at a distance of 1930. It's all looking good. 180 knots.
Tango Bravo, request descent.
And that's our approaching descent point now, so we can now set 1300 feet. We verify. Actually, you know what? I can actually set the missed approach altitude now. It makes no difference. 4,000 feet because I've got no automation. It's a missed approach altitude set. So I'll try and do some height checks. Bring that up a few times.
2,500.
A little bit of thrust. So actually in the sim, it's quite tricky because everything's very small. The little displays I'm looking at here, I've got no pilot monitoring to give me altitude distance cross checks or configure the aircraft, which is why I did half that configuration earlier. So that's the final approach fix, 2,200 feet. And we can start descending now. It's quite a steep approach, 3.1 degrees, 7 miles, need to be at 1930, 7 miles coming up, 7.2. There we are, so 7 miles, pretty much bang on 1730. I'm going to get ready to configure now. So let's gear down. That's good. Not easy. Flat 15. Runway 28 cleared to land. Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. So gear down flat 15. Landing checklist. Start switch is continuous. Recall is checked. Speed brake armed. Green light. Landing gear down 3 green. Auto is 2. Flat 30. Oh, where's my VREF? I thought I'd set my VREF. Right, there we go. So, there's the minimums. So I would have to go around if we're not visual at this point. Let me just get stabilised here at flat 30. So, our target on the attitude on the horizon, about 57%. There we are. So, I'd continue at this point going around, but as we said, we're going to demonstrate a missed approach now. Alright, missed approach. So, imagine we're unstable now, otherwise we'll continue. We're going to go around now, right? So, which one's my togo on? So, it's go around, flat 15, set go around thrust. There we are. Positive rate of climb, gears coming up. Turn the flight director on, so we've got raw data. 400 feet above the ground, we can select LNAV. And flat 5. Just reduce a bit of thrust there, so we'll reduce go around thrust. There's the flat 5 bug, flat 1. And the ZIBO is perfect. Absolutely beautiful. So this is just demonstration, guys. Flaps up. Directly to the Alicante VOR. And we'll keep go around thrust set until we get to the missed approach altitude, missed approach point.
Alpaca 140 Tango, speed 250 knots. 250 knots for Alpaca.
And Alicante, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie's go around standard missed approach, turning left towards Magao now.
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, Roger. Continue standard missed approach, climb 5,000 feet.
Standard missed approach, kind of 5,000 feet. Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. So the aircraft will command 222 knots. And we're now going up to 5,000 feet. So again, my operator, we fly all missed approaches single channel, off a single channel approach manually. And what we're waiting for, guys, is out quiet. When out quiet happens, we can start thinking about the level off. So we just keep going around thrust all the way until that point. And this handling is very nice. It's just really good. There's out quiet, so we're thinking about the level off. 60% we want.
718, thank you.
A little bit too much thrust off there.
Reset 153, Barcelona, identified flight level 160.
There we are. All in trim, engage the autopilot, and then we complete the after takeoff checklist. There you go. That was a fully manually flown approach with a missed approach, exactly as per operator's SOPs. Really could differentiate between what would happen in real life and what happened there. Really, really good. Amazing. I have to take off checklist, so gears off. Auto brake will leave set to 2. Air conditioning and pressurisation. Actually, I'm going to leave these on just because I'm going to be manually flying the approach again. That's set. Just stow the speed brake. There we are. Have to take off checklist complete. ZIBO MOD is just flawless. So impressive. So it's got the missed approach in there. It's going to hold at Magal, which we don't want to do. We're going to fly the same approach again, so we go back in the FMS, VR X-ray runway 28, this time via Magal, execute. We don't want to hold up Magal, so we're just going to bring the missed approach, get rid of the hold to go to the first point on the extended sense line. There's the approach in again. Fixed rings are still in. It's all reprogrammed. In reality, we'd now contact the cabin crew, say why did we go around? Oh, we just wanted to do it for fun. Oh yeah, don't forget to engage the throttle as well. Whoops. Then the PA to the passengers, and then we'd reassess the situation. You know, why did we go around? Was it weather? Was it ATC? What's the fuel situation? We've got 4.8 tons. We've got loads of fuel. We've still got an extra 30 minutes until we need to divert to Palma. So let's have another go. And that's it. That's the sort of process we go through. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. The missed approach, guys. It's been a while since I've done a missed approach one. I did one this morning in the practice sector. I cannot stress to you how well the ZIBO mod does everything. I mean, it's not just... Was that for me? I might be missing ATC here. It's not just simply setting ground thrust. There's so much going on in the background. You've got to make sure the flight directors are providing the correct pitch information, provide a smooth transition to the go around. You've got the correct FMAs, the flat retraction, the speed bug is doing the right thing. I remember testing this with ZIBO for many hours years ago to ensure that everything was working. Right heading 120 degrees, speed 220 knots or less, back on 10 Yankee Charlie, and the next approach will be to landing. Thank you so much for accommodating this.
No problem. Do you want the VO X-ray or the VO X-ray?
VO X-ray again, please. Back on 10 Yankee Charlie.
Roger, X-ray.
Yeah, amazing, great ATC. So yeah, we'll do the same again. I'll get positioned onto the approach, we'll disconnect the automation and flight directors, and we'll hand fly this approach to a landing. I'll try and butter it with the yoke cam. Amazing. Domino Mosi, you've just noticed call sign. Yeah, Alpaca 10 the 10th today, then yoke cam. Always my call sign. People go, oh, you know, how do you choose your call sign? And it's like, well, nothing special really. It's usually the dates and what airports I'm flying into. I need to double check one thing with ZIBO. We're talking about how great everything is here. I need to check the experimental flight model is definitely off, because this one is a little bit low. A little bit low for clean. I was telling ZIBO earlier, for flat 1.5 all the other settings fine. We should have about 55, 58% N1 clean. It's a little bit too clean at the moment. I think it's something to do with the experimental flight model. I didn't actually double check. I need to double check that it's actually off. It needs to be off in the ZIBO mod, remember? On for the level up. But yeah, I'll need to double check that after the stream. Try not to forget. A little bit too less than N1 there.
718, taxi right on Charlie, holding point, runway 28.
Just a little disclaimer as well, guys. If you are on your type rating, because I know you guys watch it, or you're a line pilot, haven't flown for a while, everything I've explained to you is just for entertainment. I am doing it as I do in real life, but it's not to be followed. The ZIBO mod, as great it is, isn't perfect. My handling is nowhere near perfect. No one's perfect. There's no 100% perfect pilot, but I am doing as best I can. And anything I spot that isn't quite right, I'll always try to highlight. But only consult your pre-training material. There we are, so we're all ready for another approach. Remember, we were told to stay on this heading by ATC. Target attitude is very good, about 5 degrees, that's normal for this attitude and thrust setting and speeds. Did a little flyby. There we are. Oh, better fella, feels good. Feels like I'm actually peering over your shoulder from the door. Mega. Very good. So he's a bit of a delayed vector here, but he's having to squeeze us in with all that traffic. Look, look at all this traffic coming in. He's got to get us in here somehow. And look, there's like pretty much a continuous line of traffic. So that's the challenge for ATC. ATC has to try and work out, right, where can I put you amongst all that? There is a convenient aircraft carrier, and no is the answer, ladies and gentlemen. Can't see it. I didn't see it there on the map.
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, left heading 010 degrees.
Left 010 degrees, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie.
Alpaca 1 for Roger Tango, speed 210 knots from base or clear the
There we go.
to the approach, runway 28.
John, all this talk of yoke is making me hungry. I'm making chips, classic.
Alpaca 5 Tango Bravo, descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1017.
So I better update the FMS actually.
20 knots.
Descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1017.
5,000 to... So our speed restricted. We'll just put,
Alpaca 6 Golf Foxtrot, descend
put
6,000
210 knots
feet,
in
QNH
here.
1017.
Execute.
Descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1017.
We can actually use VNAV then. There we go. And that will generate a new top of descent point for the approach for you to follow.
Ronan 790, till Barcelona identified. Hearing 6852, monitor Unicom 122-8, bye-bye.
Alexander, what's your cloud sky colour mod? So no sky colour mods, that's all enhanced skyscapes dealing with that. So in icy conditions, but it's 12 degrees.
Alpaca 964, right heading
Don't need any engine anti-ice.
clear the water through the approach.
Lance, can you actually land on a carrier in a sim? Completed it, mate. Done it. In the ZIBO mod. Next question. Mark, it might have a longer runway than Luca. Or did I? I'm trying.
Good runway
I'm trying.
Alpaca 43 Papa.
Top 1 for November Charlie, welcome Alicante, taxi Bravo, stand number 27.
Yeah, because I'm a bit high here, actually, at 5,000.
Top Swiss 14 November Charlie.
Hamburg 351, Airborne 33, yeah, nothing 35, sorry, 3,500. At Hamburg 351, Barcelona identified 4,000 feet, climb, fly, level 360.
Is he going to work this, actually? I think he's going to put 494. 10 Yankee Charlie, sorry I missed you, say again.
Tango stop descend 5,000 feet, left heading 100 degrees.
Locked.
Alpaca 1 for Hotel Tango stop descend 5,000 feet, left heading 100 degrees.
I think I've caused him a headache as well.
Stop descend 5,000 landing 100 degrees for Alpaca. Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie descend 3,000 feet.
Send 3,000 feet, I'm back 10 Yankee Charlie. So 3,000 feet set, level change.
Iberia 718, line up on weight, runway 28. Line up on weight 28, Iberia 718.
So I'm actually going to extend the centre line from the Oscar point, so bring that to the top. The final approach track is 259. That's executed. Just a little bit more better situational awareness is where, with regards to the extended centre line is, which is here. And we're going to be hand flying, so that'll help me as well.
Iberia 718 Alicante with 290 degrees, 9 knots, runway 28, clear for takeoff.
This controller is on the
Alpaca
ball.
5, Tango Bravo East Base, or Bravo Echo Sierra Oscar Robert, heading 100, 100. Alpaca 5, Tango Bravo, left heading 100 degrees.
So not worried about CDA so much. I will just...
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, left heading 300 degrees, clear the OR X-ray approach, runway 28.
Left 300 degrees on the heading cleared VR X-ray runway 28, Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. So quite low on profile here.
1,000 to go.
Can't go below 3,000 feet until we're at the Delta Zulu Delta 079 Oscar point. I think that point is. And once we're at 3,000, we'll configure again. Try for another approach. Remember, this is the offset approach, so you can see someone on final here, look, on the straight-in approach. We're flying the offset one. So when you're flying a non-precision approach like this, and you want to use the automation, make sure you engage LNAV on vectors, but wait until wings level. If you don't, the aircraft can keep turning, ignoring the heading. So wait until your wings are completely level, and then you can engage LNAV, and it will intercept the extended centre line for you.
Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, speed 180 knots until the inbound radial.
180 knots until the inbound radial. I'm back on 10 Yankee Charlie. So he wants to slow down. I'll disconnect and hand fly. Let's do it again. So, firstly, no yoke cam. Oh, that'd be a bit pointless. There we are. So yoke cam's on. So disconnecting the autopilot, disconnecting the auto throttle. And I turned off the cloud somehow. Flight director's off. He wants 180 knots, so flap 1. And we're going to level off at 3,000 feet. And we're going to go straight to flap 2. There we are, that's 180 knots. So we'll level off at 3,000. That's the platform. We can't go down to 2,200 until we've passed the Delta 0 point anyway.
Alpaca 140 Tango, descent 3, correction, descent 2,500 feet.
Trim there. So there's 3,000 feet, so we're going to start pitching up.
Alpaca 5 Tango Bravo, descent 3,000 feet.
About 4-5 degrees to maintain 3,000 feet flat 2, and about 55% we'll need to maintain that speed. There we are. A little bit less thrust needed just to bring that speed back. Getting ready to roll out onto the final approach track.
153, 1 of Unicorn 122, bye bye.
So we'll start turning final now, actually a little bit early. I'll do a nice shallow turn.
Alpaca 6 Golf Foxtrot, left heading 120 degrees.
So I'll have to switch my hands around to manipulate the heading bug to get on the final approach track, but that's just because I've got no gym to set things on the MCP, which makes hand flying a lot harder. I just ballooned up slightly. Speed's good. Ready to start our descent. My VNAV's saying 1,900 feet high, that's not great. To be fair, the decel point's a little bit further ahead, so that's actually fine. So we're going to maintain a platform 3,000. We can then do a dirty dive to 2,200, but we'll try and do a bit more of a CDA using and continue approach. Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie now established on the final approach.
Thank you.
There we are. ATC as well as my workload high. Right, 3,000 feet, target altitude about 5 degrees. A little bit of more thrust there. Ooh, descending there. Oh my goodness me, I'm all over. All over. I'm alright. Just tidying up. So the attitude is quite normal. Climbing slightly as well just to get back to 3,000. And we'll just get back on profile. Again, you can't see it here, but on my iPad I've got the chart up, so I can see the altitude distance cross checks I need to do. So 7 miles again, 1930. We'll start configuring flat 5. There's usually a bit of a balloon, so if I make no input on the control card, watch the aircraft look at a balloon, that's completely normal. That is very realistic. There's a big balloon with selecting flat 5. If you're hand flying, you usually have to pitch nose down and retrim. Yeah, head up a little bit there. There we are. Trying to give you a bit of a more realistic view. So there's 3,000 feet, 10 miles. That makes sense. So we'll start descending. We've got the VNAV profile to assist us. So usually idle thrust flat 5 will give you about 1,000 feet per minute, whilst maintaining the flat 5 speeds. A little smidgen of thrust. Don't want to get too low. Remember, we can't go below 2,200 feet until the FAF.
279 requesting aircraft turns to London Luton information India.
2,200 feet is the final approach fix. We must not go below this until 8 miles from Alicante. The DME for that is down here, 9.7. So a little bit low, a bit early, that's fine.
Alpaca 140 Tango, speed 160 knots, operator, until 6 mile final.
So there we are, just 2,000. I've just got to level off here because I can't go below the FAF. So we're at that point, which is in half a mile.
Alpaca 6 Golf Foxtrot, speed 180 knots.
There we are, that's the final approach fix, 2,200 feet, and we can now continue our descent onto the final. So remember, distance 6 miles, we need to be at 1,600 feet. And we'll now configure again, so gear down. Oh no, I've got to do it twice still, haven't I? Flat 15. Match speeds. Just a little bit of thrust there. And landing checklist. We've got start switches continuous, recall check, speed brake, arm green lights, landing gear down to 3 green, auto brake is set to 2. And now select flat 30, match speeds. About 57% here. So 6 miles, we need to be at 1600 feet, 6 miles, 1640, so about 40 feet high, that's okay. So that thrust now, watch that rate of descent, don't want it, 1300 bit, a little bit too much. Haven't been cleared to land yet, 5 miles, we need to be at 1270, that's checked, 5 miles 1270. That's on profile. We still haven't been cleared to land, so continue. We don't need to. We can wait till 50 feet to be cleared to land. Runway 28 cleared to land. Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie. Landing lights are on. Checklist complete. So just going to keep it descending. We're already below the minimum, so we just keep on this heading really until we're on the extended sensor line. Then we'll turn final.
1,000 feet stabilized. Mr. Perch altitude set.
You're lying, Jim. Mr. Perch altitude is not set 4,000 feet. That's why there's 2 of us.
Alpaca 5 Tango Bravo speed 160 knots.
So again, it's quite hard to see the pappies. Zooming in a little bit there. I see 2 reds, 2 whites, so don't turn too early. Just keep that picture, keep the runway at the same point on the windscreen. You'll be absolutely fine. Speed's good, rate of descent's perfect. I'm so sorry I've ignored chat for the last 10 minutes, but that's the way it is. Checked. A little bit low, so just arrest that rate of descent slightly. Speed's good, keep descending now. A little bit overshot the centre line, but that's okay. We're correcting.
300.
Checked. Speed's good. Reset the view.
200.
A little bit low, 3 reds. Just keep it descending now though.
100.
Checked.
50. 40.
Towards the end of the runway, check.
20.
Close. Hold the attitude. Gotta get that butter, huh? Oh, that's naughty of me. Oh dear. Yeah, there we go. Speed brakes up. Oh, I'm gonna do it manually as well. Reverses. Oh, I'm stretching that out a little bit for the butter. Don't do that in real life. 100 knots. Manual braking. And we'll go back to idle, 80 knots. Oh yeah, unfortunately it stows it when I close reverses. 60 knots, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alicante. My goodness, that was very enjoyable. Oh my goodness, I hope you enjoyed the yoke cam, guys, anyway. Seeing my stripy jumper in view. There we are, we'll take the next exit here on the right. Beautiful. Flaps coming up. And yeah, I mean, Alicante worked out really well. It was quite nice to do it like a manually flown. Oh no, I was wrong button. I was on the push to talk button there. I'm nearly off the I've got full right on my rudder there. So basically, what I thought was the brake was the push to talk button on VATSIM.
And Alpaca 10 Yankee Charlie, welcome Alicante, taxi Bravo, Charlie, stand number 35.
Bravo Charlie, stand 35. Sorry, I just used the push to talk button. I thought it was the brake there. And thank you so much for your ATC. It was excellent tonight. Bye bye.
No problem. Take care. Flying today.
Cheers. So I was accidentally. So basically, I was coming towards that corner way too fast. I was expecting to be braking. I was pushing the push to talk button on VATSIM. Instead, which is what I was coming up to that corner. Alicante drift, Hans Christian, you got it exactly. Oh, that was absolutely awful. Oh dear, well, at least the flying was good. Right, Bravo, left at Charlie, stand 35, right on the corner. There we are. Very good. I'm very familiar with Alicante. I shouldn't get lost here, but you can never say never. I've gotten lost at airports I've flown into before on VATSIM streaming to you guys anyway. There's 30 knots. So yeah, there's a little bit of noise here with the speed brake. It is stowed, but sometimes it doesn't quite register that though. But no, I think it was a great inaugural stream with the Yoke cam. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, we'll use it again in the future, that's for sure. There we are. Excellent ATC. This is what's the dev vertical sim, is it, for this one? So actually I had to use a slightly different terminal design. So you see how it looks a little bit it's not as good as it can be with the scenery. It's because I'm using Orbex True Earth mesh, and they actually have the developers actually made like a custom file to allow you to use custom mesh. It just means that the airport's a little bit more basic, but it still looks exactly like the real thing. The terminal, for example, doesn't say Alicante or anything on it, but it just means it sits really nicely on the Orbex True Earth. There we are. APU is on. Coming on. Flight directors can come off. Oh. One of the things about the Yoke is you have to sit a little bit further from your desk, and my rudder pedals are moving a little bit when I use them, so it means they're not quite as effective. Sort the lights out, also taxiing in before any of you say anything. Strobe, steady, off, probes with the radar. There we are. So stand 35, there's 29, 31, 33.
Alpaca 5 Tango Bravo, Alicante, wind 39
There's 35 Alpha. There's a second left, which is 35 right at the corner.
Alpaca 1 for Hotel Tango, welcome Alicante, taxi right 1 Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Stand number 3.
Nice 35. Alicante is my favourite destinations, guys. I've been here a lot. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've landed here over 100 times. Oh, right, an aircraft's popping a wheelie. It's like a low rider style. AP's on the bus. Stand 35. We do actually have guidance for the stands. Doesn't seem to be working though. No, where's my guidance? An issue with Sam maybe, not sure, but no, it doesn't seem to be turning on.
Sorry, can you repeat today
I'll have to sort of guess where we're stopping. I'd say about there. Right, parking brake is set. 2 blues, 1 red, and we can now kill the engines. Engines dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alicante. Local time in the sim 1340 right now. Real life 1940.
40, 30,
Pop off the
20,
anti-vision lights.
10.
Hopefully the air bridge will attach. Oh, that wasn't a bad guess. I don't think the air bridge is going to come.
Just had a visual inspection of your 73 as you taxied past. Looks like you might need to call Dodgy Dave to change those tyres. Loved this stream, Cap.
Thanks, John.
You.
Thanks, John Padfield, for the £5 and your continued support as a member. Very kind of you, sir. I really appreciate the generosity. What was that bad? Oh yeah, dodgy. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the landing was good. It was just the high-speed taxi off. Yeah, because whilst I thought I was braking, I attempted to turn at around 25 knots. Yeah, in real life, well, certainly if the taxiway runway was wet, you'd just go in a straight line. The nose wheel doesn't have that much grip. So yeah, 10 knots really for those sort of turns, not 25. Whilst I was telling ATC instead. Oh dear, but thank you, John. Really, really kind. That was mega. Right, I will have a look at chat here because I did miss everything. I mean, yes, the Yoke brings another element to the stream, but it just means my capacity and my ability to read the chat as I hand fly everything like that is completely out the window there. List a bit 11 out of 10 would Yoke or Joke again. Thank you very much. Yoke cab is great. Minor criticism, the light nearby is blowing out the exposure. Ah, okay, Josie, I might get rid of that then because I just have that so I can see things clearly. But the idea, I think, is just so you guys can see the Yoke. That's all I want you to see. I'm not so worried about what you see in the background, but thanks for the feedback. I always take feedback on. Callum Kimber, thank you very much for the membership. Welcome aboard, buddy. Glad you enjoyed the content. Members only Discord for you. Hope you enjoy using the customizing chat. Thank you very much for the support. Guess the mystery. Sam is on strike. Unbelievable. Seems that you have 2 overlapping sceneries. Maybe that could be it, Dom. I've seen it.
Welcome.
Yeah, it could be 2 Air bridge guidance is there or something. Yeah, look, oh, I know what it will be. It'll be the Orbex True Earth, won't it? I think Orbex True Earth has put a building over the terminal. That will be it. That would make sense, actually. Maybe I have to need to remove something there. Andrea, what does Julia have to say about your landing? She loves it. She said so. Paul, have you got any response curves with the yoke? I have left it all at default, Shuey. I'll send you a screenshot if you like of my settings, but it's all on standard. For me, you can spend so much time fiddling with that, changing it. I like how it feels, so it's all good to me. Best stream ever. Thank you very much, XVLP. Thanks, Bo Matthew, as well. Amazing stream this one. Thanks for all the info. Most welcome there. Heard you on frequency. Yeah, sorry about that, Robson. Telling everyone on that frequency about what was going on there. Tokyo drifting. It sure certainly was. Excellent. GHL really enjoyed the stream, so thank you very much. Looking forward to my new PC and explain ZIBO 737 in due course. Excellent. Black Cobra, are you allowed to retract flaps already during rollout after landing? Should be after vacating. Yeah, below 30 knots it's fine, but once the runway's vacated, that's the point where we usually retract the flaps there. Excellent. So, thank you all much for your lovely comments, and we'll now pop off of that sim. I don't know who that controller was, but he was an amazing controller, really dealing with the amount of traffic with no problem whatsoever, and accommodating my missed approach and non-standard approach as well. But we'll pop off the network there, and we'll kill off Fly Live, which is done, and we'll turn down the music here, and of course we can then cue the funky replay music if I can get my Streamlabs deck up. There we are. Wow, that was seamless. Let's put ourselves back into the aircraft. There we are. So there's the first approach. Just turn down this music here because it is extraordinarily loud. There we are. So this was, yeah, it was a nice approach actually. Quite happy with that one. So remember what I was talking about, how it looks very high? That picture actually looks, that might be 3 whites, maybe 4 whites, but that's just Alicante. I think it's slightly upslope on 28 as well, and with it being a slightly steeper approach, gives you that picture that you're too high. But no, look, you're bang on 2 reds, 2 whites. Whereas a normal approach with 3 degrees, I'd expect maybe 3 whites at least with that picture. Anyway, let's put ourselves over the threshold. There's the turn on to final. Speed it up slightly. Let's crank the sounds up because the ZIBO mod sounds amazing when it flies past. Watch your ears, guys. Check, closing the thrust levers, and there was me trying to get a little bit of a butter, so I was holding off the attitude slightly. Use a little bit of rudder just before touchdown, just to get that nose pointing in the right direction, but yeah. Gotta get those butters for you guys. Right, let's have a look from this perspective. There we go. Chuck, wasn't expecting a real live answer. Awesome. I try my best. I can't get to every single one, but I do read as many of your chat points and requests as possible. Beautiful. Let's have a look from the tower. Excellent. Over the threshold at about 50 feet. Holding the attitude, then I pitched up a little bit more just to get down there, but I was well within the touchdown zone. Beautiful. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Right then, well, I'll pop you back inside the ZIBO mod. I'll put you in that lovely wing view so you can enjoy the approach and landing from the perspective of someone in seat 17 right or something like that. Mega, well, that was the first ever yoke cam. I think it was a great success. I was very happy to do it. I think the general feedback was 100% use the yoke cam in future streams. So I'm not going to use the yoke for every aircraft I fly, but generally with the ZIBO mod, yeah, we'll get the yoke cam and fly it with yoke cam, maybe with some other aircraft. Otherwise, I'll be sticking with the Airbus joystick. For those ones, maybe the Fearless 7.4 with the 4 engines, that would be epic to actually try, so I might do that on another stream as well. So, where do I start? As ever, to everyone that donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I'm not looping this, it is a genuine thanks every time. I really appreciate it. Don't ever feel the need to donate. All I ever want you to do is just enjoy the show. To all my members, thank you very much for the continued support, as ever. To all the regular viewers and subscribers, thank you so much for popping in. As ever, if you could like the video and subscribe, as this kind gentleman has. Thank you very much, Stoicera. That's the best way to keep up with the latest information on the channel. Hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday live, where we'll take the Twin Otter from Aerosoft into Lucca. I think that's the plan. I think I was getting from most of you guys here. That's a pre-release aircraft, so massive thanks to Aerosoft for sending the aircraft. Who else would I say thanks to? Orbex for all the lovely scenery as ever. That's all available on the Orbex website. Go check them out. Have a beautiful Monday evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, or Tuesday maybe already for some of you. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next live stream, hopefully on Wednesday. Cheerio.